Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast, is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support the show, go to patreon.com/laststandmedia. Salutations, everybody. It is Maddie here today. Welcome to episode 275 of Defining Duke and Xbox podcast. Today, we're joined by the man drifting around Tokyo himself, Lord Cognito. Looks like you got a fresh cut. Is that the camera doing some work?
Yeah. Fine. Yeah. I'm impressed.
Yeah, there we go.
You understood. Now. I got back to my normal self.
I'm feeling your hat on today.
Yes. Bro, I was scraggly for a minute, bro.
Oh, come on. You look great. You look great.
Everyone says that, but it's like, as a person who I don't really let my facial hair get out of control. I don't usually let things get too crazy. It feels
You
awful.
look good. Yeah, you look really good today, bro. Like, yeah, you should feel your utmost confidence right now. Like, yeah. So I get what you're saying. I see what Cog's saying. Like, you look good before, but I see, like, when you're styling and profiling like this, all right, I see you, Cog.
Yeah, I feel this is Cog.
I see why you feel the need to throw on the hat. Like, yeah, I'm not feeling my best right now.
Bro, I feel like I'm on lockdown, but I don't. You know what I'm saying? But I'm hanging in, brother. I'm hanging in, man. It's just, man, so much going on. And I know we got health as well stuff to talk about, but, you know, we got through another milestone, you know, as far as, you know, we did get the colonoscopy done last Friday, and early results were good, but I want to wait for the definitive stuff. But, you know, she told me that she was like, you know, everything, you know, looks good or whatever. And no, she scared me at first. When I came out, she's like, you know, have you been in pain? Like, I'm literally waking up out of recovery. And she's like, so, like, have you been in pain? And I'm like, oh no, like, why is she questioning me with these intense things? So she's going on and she's like, no, we just saw this little inflammation here. Because remember, I got the diverticulitis, you know, kind of thing. So I'm like, no, but I was like, not really. She's like, oh, okay. So I'm like, Big C? Like, what else? Oh, she said, oh, hell no. Like, the way she brushed it off was kind of like, don't even think about that.
Too casual with that shit, bro.
Yeah, I'm sitting there waiting on pins and needles for you to tell me some life-changing thing. First news you tell me waking up is like, have a concern. Yeah, concerned face with pain, and she starts laughing at me when I mentioned the Big C. So she was like, "Oh no!" Like, I was like, "Okay, cool." But anyway, so we got through it. You know,
best laugh of your life, no doubt. When you get that, no, you're like, "Oh, it definitely isn't that." You're right. That is funny.
I could live for a few more years. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how she casually could throw that out there like that. But yeah, it was good to get it done. I will say, for my first colonoscopy though, bro, that prep. I've never done one. Have you done one? I had to do
one. Yeah. Bro, did you have to drink the, oh man, dude, it's things like that, or things like airports that really get my back up, where I'm like, we need to evolve as a society, bro. Like drinking that thing down. I think that's one of the main reasons I remember Shin Megami Tensei 5 so much. I was just posted up in the bathroom playing that for like 8 hours straight.
Yo, I'm explosive diarrhea. Like your colon is emptying. Like that joy.
It's legit water. Let's be TMI here. It's legit water. I've never experienced that before, bro.
Yes. Crazy. First of all, it's the most disgusting tasting thing going.
It ruined lemon lime Gatorade for me.
Oh, I learned the trick. I did what you did. I had to chase it down. So I had like a little apple juice. I do like a couple sips, apple juice. You know what I'm saying? I was doing that. And then you had then you got to do the 2 full 16 ounces of water after each joint. So then you just living in the bathroom.
I was about to say, where'd you post up? I was just in my bathroom the whole time.
Yeah, kitchen, bathroom. Like I think we had to do a recording that day. And bro, I wasn't ready. I had to tell someone.
You underestimated it, bro. I wish I prepared you. You're doing no work that night.
They said, bro, no work. Like, I'm thinking 6 p.m. I had to do the first prep. And I'm like, all right, by 2 hours, I think I ought to be out. Oh, hell no. So I had to tell the guys, I'm like, yeah, I'm still post up on the throne. Still might need another half hour to it out. It was about a 3 hour joint before your stomach kind of settles down, gets everything out. But the hardest thing is just not eating. Oh, and this is the stupidest thing I did. Never do this. This was dumb. Mm-hmm. So I forgot that my, colonoscopy was scheduled on a Friday. So we did that's what we had. We did a spoiler cast. I had the Super Mario movie scheduled the day before at my bougie dine-in movie theater.
Oh, no.
So I couldn't get out of it. And that's the day where you fasted and you got to take the prep after. Mm-hmm. So my dumb self go there and I'm smelling all the aromas of food. I'm smelling, I can't eat anything. Remember, you can't drink anything red. You can't have anything, but you can't do anything but water. I think I had ice water. And yeah, that was, I think, like apple juice. That's like the only thing that was on the allowed list of things to do. I'm seeing little kids eating chicken tenders and hamburger. Bro, I was tight in that Super Mario movie. I had a parent sit next to me. She ordered a whole.
I'm sitting on the food, just like, damn, that sounds so good right now.
Shout out to my man Iron Rope. I give him the most credit. He's doing a bodybuilding prep, and you know how they be like, I'm 8 weeks out, you're fasting, you're doing all this stuff. When I was in GDC, you know what I'm saying, he was cameraman for me because we obviously was, we got accepted for a lot of these events. Bro, for long there was a time, he's like, bro, I can't really eat anything. I'm like, how do you do it? So there was times where I'm eating in this man's face because I'm like, yo, I got to eat. It's been all day. It's lunch. You know what I'm saying? They got a little booth or whatever. And now I understand that pain. I understand that pain of not being able to eat anything while you're in that kind of fasting state. And it's discipline, bro. Woo! Yeah. Shout out to the bodybuilders out there. I don't know how y'all do that, but man, I stuffed my face when that colonoscopy was over.
I was gonna say, what was the victory meal? For me, it was pizza and wings, which I don't think was really smart, but like I just went for what my body wanted most. Crazy. I was like, I'm not, break your fast. I was like, I want pizza, bro. Like,
yeah. I think for me, it was, it was a diner joint, but it was like a bougie joint that had, it was the Cuban joint. It was the Cuban joint. I went straight to it. So I had the ropa vieja, and then I had the sweet plantains.
It sounds good.
Oh, it's amazing. It's like chicken shredded. It's like they got usually it's a shredded beef version, but I did the shredded chicken version. Perfect. Amazing. Little sauce, little rice and beans, and then it had the sweet plantain joint. Oh my God, it was so good. Okay. Yeah. And I had a drink. I was like, no, we going to drink. We suffered.
Feel your life, bro. You'll always remember that. Like, yes, I always remember the post colonoscopy meal. So good.
all the things. So she did say, even though I'm, the big C, I'm okay, but she did say she does want another one in 10 months, only because of the diverticulitis and the inflamed stuff on like one little area. And I know coming into it, I had a little minor attack. So I think that's what it is, but she just wants to be on the safe side. So I'm like, all right, cool. See you in 10 months or whatever it is. And but we just got to do another one. But all right. But I know what to do.
Well, I'm glad you're okay. That's what matters most, right? So is this it? Like you're done now, or?
Yeah, pretty much the major stuff is done. Once I get the official biopsy results that say 100% no big C, then that becomes, I think you get like a 5 to 10 year window before you have to do anything again. So I'm still kind of a little in that early detection phase, but that was my main thing. Just make sure I'm good. Remember, the men on the cognito side usually don't make it in the 50s because they never check. They have bad habits, and I come from smokers and drinkers and users of things. So, you know what I'm saying? Like I've been always, that's why health is always important because I don't want to follow the history of the men on my side. So yeah.
Totally. Yeah. They got me marked on the colonoscopy list as well. Like, because I had to get one, they were just like, yeah, we'll see you in like 10 years to do this again. I'm just like, okay. Fuck. Like, even though you're younger, they're like, we'll see you in 10 years. I'm like, damn, bro.
He's going to want to see you at all.
I was like, all right, I'd rather that than live. Or, no, reverse that. I want to live.
Yes, we want to live 100%. So let's go to a job at Rambler.
Nothing nearly as serious, I would say. I don't know. I'm trying to think. I'm just getting ready to go on a vacation next week. So I've just been kind of like driving through a lot of meetings, a lot of YouTube stuff. I'm handling things. I'm doing a test run on something a little bit different. I guess that's my biggest update. Okay. So normally when I'm about to go away, I normally feel the need to have everything pre-recorded, pre-edited, scheduled, good to go. So I literally don't touch the YouTube app the whole time. I'm going to try something a little bit different and just get everything recorded beforehand. That's a lot easier for me. I mean, it still takes a lot of time and prep and energy and all that shit. But like get everything pre-recorded, hand them off to the editors, and then they can just edit it on their time. And then I'll just get it live while I'm out on vacation. That doesn't take much energy or effort. Yeah. And I have a good team. I trust them, but like, you know, like they can schedule it, send it my way. I can quickly review the video. Like that doesn't put me in work mode. I'm going to see if that works because I'd like to, sometimes I accidentally, like they don't complain because usually every December we do this, but sometimes when I go on vacation, it ends up like squeezing the people who work with me too. And I want to try to see if I can massage that while also like not making I don't know if you're like me, pre-vacation stress sometimes makes the vacation just like I dread it at first. I'm trying to get that out of my system because
explain.
So for me, I'm a lot like I would compare it to Cobra Commander. Colin likes to make sure everything's still running in order while you're away. Right. Yes. So when we go away every holiday, like he makes sure we have all the shows banked. I function a similar way. I don't let my shows go dormant ever. So whether it's Retro Rebound, Maddie Slop, it's like, you're going to expect me. That's the expectation I've created. So I want to live up to that. So I will always make sure everything is good to go. And so for me, what happens is when I get to that point where it's like, okay, you know, vacation's coming up soon. Like in the cases, I'll use our kind of winter break as an example. You usually got to start working on that like months out. And because of that, if I'm going away somewhere, it's like, oh my God, like if I wasn't going anywhere, I wouldn't have to be like squeezing. And sometimes what happens is you get so tired beforehand that like it takes more days to unwind on vacation and the vacation doesn't feel long enough. I had that when I went to North Carolina recently. Just last year. So that's where my head's at is like, I'm trying to see if like, I want to travel more this year. I want to take advantage of the fact that I have a remote job. Like I see my man Cog with the mic everywhere. I'm like, I got to start living my life a little bit more mobile, but without making it where like I have to jump through 18 hoops to get up and go somewhere. Because I'll always put in the work, but like I'm trying two different things. This is trial one. Trial two is when Leia and I take a little trip again to North Carolina next year. We're just going to bring our work stuff. I'm just going to kind of like work out of a different state and just see how that goes. So
a little remote action.
Yeah, I'm just going to see how it goes. Cause like I said, I want to see more of the world. I feel like for a 30-year-old, I've seen very little of it. And so I need to kind of right that wrong, take advantage of that while I have youthful energy as well. But yeah, otherwise, I mean, that's basically my week. It's just been prep, meetings, videos, Starfield DLC.
Yes.
A lot of games. A lot of games. I've been playing a lot lately. Yeah.
Nice.
That's what happens. I hit the big deadline and then coast into some games for a little bit and then pick back up for the deadline again. So we're in that good flow right now. Nice. I appreciate you asking. Like I said, nothing nearly as serious as what you've been going through.
Appreciate that. Be the inside joke. You know what I'm saying? So just like it's about checking in with each other, guys.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's not about comparing situations. Some people make this a comparative thing, and I'm just like, nah. It's all about checking in with the homie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course. We have a lot of write-ins this week, Cog.
Yeah.
Some quick corrections, others scolding us, some cures to diseases.
Okay.
Let's go through a couple of them. One's from Joshua Anderson. He writes, "Sup, fellas. A correction from last week regarding the Maximum Collection. Maddie, you said that the X-Men arcade game was never ported to consoles. This is actually incorrect. It was ported to PS3, and I know this because I bought it. It's actually a super sore spot for me because I also bought the Mortal Kombat arcade collection that was released around the same time. None of these are accessible to me on PS4 or PS5, and instead I'm being asked to rebuy them, even though the SNES level games are in no way restrained by the PS3's cell architecture. Now just waiting for my Midway Classics collection to demand I rebuy that as well." Yes, thank you for this correction, because I then read my Retro Rebound comment section. I saw people were mentioning this as well. I think this falls into the bucket of, like, Xbox Live Arcade also did this, where I remember they put like Turtles in Time reshelled, like Ubisoft remade Turtles in Time. That was temporarily up. That's not available anymore. There were some games released that were like a part of like these that generation's arcade games that I was not aware of that were there that then got delisted. There are ones I know didn't move forward, but this is one that I guess didn't move forward as well. So I was incorrect on it. So I appreciate Joshua correcting me on that.
Yeah, shout out to Joshua. I'm glad you said what you said about delisting with the Xbox Live. There's one that burns my soul as an old head. There's a Voltron Xbox Live arcade game that I had, and I'm like, bro, it's delisted. It was 5-player multiplayer. It was almost like a twin stick shooter in the Lions mode, and then y'all could form Voltron together. You had a little quick time event, and it had the licensed theme music. Bro, I love that stupid game, and I'm dying to play it, and I can't find it anywhere. And that was on the Xbox 360 Live arcade. Oh, the D-list kill me sometimes.
Yeah, there was actually a Star Wars game that was in development. I forgot what it was called. It was a Galactic Assault or something like that. There was a Star Wars game in development for Xbox Live Arcade, though. It was supposed to be kind of like a Battlefront successor. It got canceled. That one always lived with me. I always think about that one, but it came back like briefly, like someone got like a version of it online and working.
Yes.
Yeah, there were just some real gems during that time, like licensed gems that just.
I remember when Spartacus was a big thing. Spartacus, the show. Yes. There was a Spartacus Legends Xbox Live. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah. I remember this because they were taking off the hype of the show. Oh my god, the license era killed us back then, man. Yeah. Things would get pulled down.
100%. This is why that was probably like one of those moments where I was like, man, I like physicals.
I ain't gonna hold you.
This next one's for you, Cog. It comes from Nostalgia King. He writes, Yo, Dukes, long-time listener, first-time commenter. My comment is concerning health as well, particularly heart health, because I swear to God, your podcast gives me a heart attack at least once a week. I listen to your lovely podcast while commuting to work, driving faster than I should be going. And without fail, a siren goes off at one of your houses, and it absolutely freaks me out. And for a moment, I'm convinced that I've finally been caught. Anyway, thank you for the overwhelming positivity you two bring to each of us each week, Dukes. It's always been a blast listening to you. Hopefully, Brad doesn't guest anytime soon and bring his cursed Xbox, which, keeping Brad away has kind of worked. Brad, things have been looking pretty good lately.
Brad, I love you, but we're about to keep you away for a little bit.
Yeah.
You're on a little roll right now, Brad.
Yeah. We kind of want to test the Brad curse, though, don't we? If we bring him back.
Test that man's gangster. When you pull up, so I've never seen someone pull up that have the consistency of heartbreaking, gut-wrenching Xbox news when he jumps on. And if it don't happen a week, it's the week after. Like it's or before. It's always the Brad window. I love you, Brad. I got to.
Here's the thing. Because I know this writing's for you, but I just want to say, Cog, I'm missing next week. Pick your guest wisely, then. Brad's always available.
Brad is available, and that's the homie. Yeah. I might, if my initial plan does not work, who I have in mind, then I might have to test it there. You know what I'm saying? Because Brad does hold it down, but we may have to stay away from Brad for this one. We on fire for a little bit. Not even fire. We're warming up, and I want to keep this going. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, the water's fine. Like, that's all we wanted for a little bit. Just the water's fine. Let's just sit in here for a little bit.
But to your point, I was going to say real quick, but to your point, it is kind of gangster to test the theory in the Asha era to see. I'll see what you say. We'll see how it plays. But anyway, what's the question? What's going on?
I guess it really isn't a question. Mm-hmm. The Nostalgia King, it seems you're giving him heart attacks, though. You're out here with your sirens, bro.
Yeah.
I thought about that when it was going off last week. I was wondering to myself, I'm like, if you're driving, like that sounds like, I wonder if that puts anyone on watch. Cause I'm like, I wonder if the audience is just trained for it and they just know because no one writes about it. This is the first time we've gotten something like that. So I thought it was funny.
Yeah, it's hilarious. I get it. Sav gets it. It's that New York, New Jersey life. It's always something going on. But what's funny is when I listen back to the pod, I'll still do it myself, instinctually look around and I'm like, oh, that was what I recorded.
This next one comes from Dilbud. He says, hey, Dukes, nothing important today. Just writing in to say that pig semen can now cure eye cancer. Yes, it's real. Look it up, which I did look it up. There are headlines. It is a thing. He said that's got to fit into health as well somewhere, right? All the best. So thank you, Dill. So if anyone's worried about their eyes and developing a cancer in there, I don't know if it's like an eye drop, like you're just straight up dripping the pig semen in there or something. I don't know, bro. And this is the thing, right? Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
There are just certain things in life where you're like, who the fuck discovered that and how?
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't care that you fixed something big here. What sick fuck thought of this?
What was you doing when you came to this discovery? Why this thing? How did you know to test that?
How do you have that in a lab? Who's collecting that? Who's like, yo, we might need this. Think about it. Yo, that's got to be studied.
Yeah, that's a lot of Diddy energy, though. Yeah. That's a lot of Diddy, bro. That's right. Someone was inspired, bro. What are we doing? Like, we love the scientific breakthrough. We love that we get there. But you make a very valid point. The things people go through for science, the curiosities that are piqued to experiment with are very interesting to me, to how they get to these conclusions. And these things be the things that solve things.
Yeah. They're the true warriors in our time, you know? They got to fight through that.
Man, somebody was at the pig freak off, and they was
yeah, and like that's what I'm trying to get to. I'm just like, they saw it and on the ground, they're like, could be useful. Like, you never know. Like, hey, can we bring this back? Like, hey, I have an idea. It's admittedly did not do much research beyond the headlines. I completely admit if there's like something in the article is like, yeah, they figured there was this gene in there that's actually compatible with this cure. And then so they tried it out, but hopefully it works on real cancer. That would be hilarious because then, that would be funny. Bro, I should say real cancer. That's the wrong wording, but like, more popular cancers, I agree. See where it goes. All right, Cog, let's turn into gaming here. Game Pass refunds, are they dead? I wanted to put this out as a little bit of a PSA to the Game Pass community out there. Chris might have the signal flare for you all to check. So I wanted to get the little bit more additional input from those of you in our community. Let us know if this is the case, because I'm not subscribed to Game Pass. But Chris writes, hey, Matt and Cog, just thought I'd touch base and let you know the Game Pass refund hack has finally been shut down. When you cancel now, whether it be on the first day or the last day of the subscription, it no longer lets you request a refund. I've ashamedly been using this jack on and off for years. Guess it's time to start buying games again. Take care and have only a month to finish Expedition 33 time of the month. Cheers. Thank you, Chris. We appreciate you. So yeah, I want the Duke community to go out and give this a look. Give us your report. Try to get the refund. Do the Dustin Furman. Do the Brad Ellis.
That's who I think of as Dustin. 100%. Yeah.
Oh, Dustin totally gets in on that system.
Hustling.
Bro. This is huge. This is bad news for Dustin if true.
Yes. 100%.
We'll see.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's time to test it out. And come outside, guys. It's time to come outside. They got you. You're surrounded.
All right. This next one's from Respawn Delay. He writes, hola, Dukes. I've waited a couple of episodes to see if anybody else would bring this topic up, but since not, I've decided to sub to the Patreon and mention it myself. Welcome. We're happy to have you here. Minecraft Dungeons 2 was obviously one of the main announcements at Mojang's recent event. But what I actually found more interesting was the announcement of a Minecraft theme park. Minecraft World is being built as a themed land within Chessington World of Adventures, a popular theme park in England, and is set to open its doors in 2027. Between this and last year's announcement that a Minecraft theme park is coming to the United States at some point in the future, I was wondering whether you guys think Microsoft are going to continue investing into this sort of thing. We're currently seeing Nintendo go all in with theme parks in multiple countries, a Nintendo Museum in Kyoto, and the recently announced Poke Park in Kanto. Dude, Microsoft even have more IP that they can leverage to this extent, or do they just have to continue to double down on Minecraft? Have a creepy cog waiting in line for the Minecraft roller coaster kind of day.
That's savage. That's savage.
Good, pig semen drinks while they're out there, right? Fallout, right? Gotta be. Fallout theme park works. It's begging for it, I think. But otherwise, I don't have any good answers.
I think you nailed it. I mean, it's out of all the properties now, besides Minecraft, like Fallout is the IP, right? That it is proved. You've won the Great War in our former what is it, a Bethesda debate, Bethesda IP debate. I remember when we first started Duke, and I remember I appalled you. The face you made when I was like, I like Elder Scrolls better, and you were like, Fallout's by far the better. I was like, okay, he goes off of Fallout. You know what I'm saying?
Skyrim's better than anything they've made, but Fallout's just the more appealing franchise.
Yeah, for sure. It is. I have to give you that. They've won the Great War right now, and obviously the Amazon show. But yeah, I think it makes sense. Fallout, Minecraft, those probably only two that I could see as far as their major IPs that are just universal. So yeah, I could see a theme park and
Call of Duty paintball park. No?
I mean, because what it is, Call of Duty is so, what is it? Like it's iterative. They do so many different things each year, I guess, but I don't know. I don't feel like a connection to it because it's almost like Final Fantasy in a way, but even more extreme. Right, you reinvent yourself every single time. Yeah. So but of course the Dude Bros are gonna be out there if they was something like the paintball and stuff like that.
Drop shotting in real life, dolphin diving in real life. I feel like they got something there. If they make a paintball park, that'd be kind of cool. Wouldn't be wide scale enough, I imagine, but that'd be kind of neat.
Yeah. Remember that like the laser tag era and all of that too. That'd be kind of crazy. Yeah,
laser tag's fun.
I do. I remember that.
I never got into the whole airsoft stuff though. Unfortunately, like just never was able to get my hands on airsoft weaponry as a kid.
Yeah, me neither.
Like the best I got, my dad got me was a Desert Eagle airsoft, but it was whack in that I picked it out myself, by the way. So when I say it's whack, it's not like gifted to me. And I was like, what the fuck is this? But I didn't realize when I bought it, you had to cock each shot. So you had to like, so I had my friend Connor who had straight up like SMG. So he's like running around like that. And then I'm just like, like, this shit's so whack, bro.
When you get the whack toy and the friends got so fly. I feel you.
Anyway, Respawn, thanks for writing in. We appreciate you. Cog, let's get into the big news this week. Honestly, a pretty thin script for me this week, but like everything here, we could park it on for a while. Let's start off with the first one here. No doubt we'll have more to say later. Halo campaign evolved. We'll start off with the good news. Okay, we'll get to the bad news much later. Halo campaign evolved had as a data miner by the name of Grunt API. And it looks like what we've got here is a release date for campaign evolved, which is much sooner than you might expect, like 3 months from now. They had an equation they found through the data mine and effectively conclude that there will be an early access date for Thursday, July 23rd, and an official release for Tuesday, July 28th. And I just found this to be, again, very interesting because, again, there was this sort of math equation for early access in the original release. They put it out there and people had solved that this would be the respective dates. So sooner than I expected. I said August. I thought that was even cutting it a little bit close. But Cog, what do you think about seeing Halo campaign evolved so soon?
This is huge. I'm surprised. There's a part of me that is not surprised, and there's a part of me that's surprised. The part of me is not surprised because of the fact that we know it's like, just the campaign itself. We're not doing any type of multiplayer suite. But, I thought they need more time for polishing. I thought they need more time to kind of, get things situated as far as from a multi-platform release. This is fantastic news. The reason why it's fantastic is because I thought they were going to be married to Xbox 25th anniversary marketing. And also remember, my birthday, November 15th, birthday of Halo, birthday Xbox. I thought that they would try to get too cute and synergize, right? And capitalize on the nostalgic, historic moment of it. I love that they're decoupling that. I also
think the date is so early that they probably never had that as a plan, which is a good sign too.
Yes, and because of the proximity of and plethora of releases that they have this year, you push Halo away from everything, gives it a nice chance to succeed. And according to this leak, and I'll shout out the Insider Game, I did see this from initially. Like you can also strut that out on stage, tell people it's a month away. Get the hype going. And summer is nice. It's away from everything. You can actually benefit from a game sales perspective. You know what I mean? Like, I like this for them. I didn't think this early. This bodes well. This frees up, a little, obviously November. I was thinking maybe they try to get out August, September. Maybe this frees up some Fable windows. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's see. I'm really excited about this. We got other things to talk about 343, but I love this right now.
This definitely balances the scales. It was about to be a good old-fashioned Halo Studios ass kicking up here, which we've no doubt done before. This balances it a little bit where, again, we'll see how the game goes.
Yes, 100%.
I got my defense up on this one just because of the little things I'm seeing. Mm-hmm. And some of the bigger things, I guess, in the visual department. But like, it's really those little things. Like I am one of those annoying people who looks like the change they made to Silent Cartographer with like removing the rock and letting you ride the Warthog up to the hunters. And I'm just like, it's not the end of the world, but it does show that they don't get it. It's those little things that show they don't get what makes these games tick. And it's been evident before, but then they do something like that. And it's like, that's a bad change. And you don't know why, if players deduce why that's there, but you can't. We'll talk about, like, again, how equipped are you for the job? But this is my favorite Halo, dude. Like, I'm excited. I want this to be great. Have you seen the released or leaked? I shouldn't say released, the leaked details from Rebs Gaming on the. I think we talked about it last week. We did about the prequel missions, kind of like being based around like the ODST troopers.
Yeah. We did. We briefly talked about it, and again, it's. For me, is it end of the world? No, but similar to what you said about, the Silent Cartographer mission, I understand, lore-wise, aesthetic-wise, there's a history, right? There's a thing that people want to see, that reverence and respect to say, what Halo is, what makes it click, how authentic things need to be. So again, it's going to be one of those things that they may get dragged for by the hardcore, community. And it's tough. One hand, modernization, I get it. And fairness, many studios reuse assets. I'm not going to sit there and say don't, but when you're remaking something this iconic, a lot of people want that purity, So I get it. I get it 100%. And we'll see. To me, like I said before, this is Mass Effect Legendary Collection energy that you really can't mess. You know what I mean? This is one of the easiest W's, the easiest layup. And I'm just hoping that they execute fine and we'll see what happens. But I understand. I don't want to be disrespectful or minimalist to the things you're mentioning, because that is the essence of Halo. Like, a lot of people take a lot of pride in, with that whole situation as far as those things being followed through.
Yeah. The fact that they're showing this or potentially releasing this at the end of July, they got to start showing it soon. Rebs Gaming was saying this is pretty much a lock for the summer showcase. I think given that release date, we already now know that would be the case. But I feel like they got to show it beforehand, a little bit more.
I think so.
We got the demo, we got the trailer reveal. Like, that was a big moment. Like, a lot of people showed up for that. I feel like we need, I don't know. Like, I feel like if it's coming out, again, we're thinking the next big marketing beat for Xbox is this summer showcase, right? For something that's coming out a little bit over a month later, don't you think they would need a little bit more of a lead in to that? Or is it sort of a Halo exists, Halo's big, Halo's multi-plat, it's a remake, like, let's just wait for that final month and a half push and just go from there?
I think because the suite is smaller and it's Halo, I think they could get away with the splash of a showcase and just say, boom, here you go. I think the stage is big enough, because I do worry about a title like this having overexposure, because let's be honest, it's still core Halo.
Yeah, this has been released multiple times.
Like, we know what we get. You know what I'm saying? It just comes down to those Sergeant Johnson, those prequel missions, those kind of stuff, and obviously performance and things like that. So I think they could get away with, the thing. I think this will be an easy W. Like I said, if they execute, showcase, you come on screen, and like I said, if Asha or whoever from the team is there, and it's like, and you will be able to pre-order now, and it's next month, like, people, that'll get a buzz going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What do you think's going on with certain Affinity's Halo stuff? Like, they were doing that multiplayer Halo game. Do you think that makes an appearance here at all? Like, I'm thinking they got something split coming up. They did that with Halo Infinite. And I guess technically to great success, the player base didn't stay, but 20 million players is nothing to scoff at. So I wonder if they have this separate, like, a lot of people are disappointed that Halo Campaign Evolved doesn't have the multiplayer. And I think that's fair. Even though if in the name it is just the campaign, like, I get it, because how much they're probably going to charge for it and everything like that. Like, you want the full suite. But do you think they're going to, like, do a separate multiplayer mode that's going to be sort of an offshoot and maybe drop that this year? Because what I'm thinking about again is what we talked about with Gears. Yeah. And like we kind of opened up that conversation last week of like, do they do the full suite in one package? Do they split it off? And when like Gears is already dominating the end of the show, and that's a part of the conversation, can this game fight for oxygen, especially if there's multiple Halo products? Like, I'm just curious where you're at with, is this the only Halo thing we see this year?
I'll be honest. I'm a little concerned about that multiplayer joint from certain Affinity. I feel like, we haven't heard anything. We do know, obviously, the Halo campaign can evolve. It's decoupled. It's not there. I do understand that Master Chief Collection exists, but Master Chief Collection is currently, right, say just PC and, Xbox consoles for the most part. They've never really come over to, PlayStation or Nintendo Switch like I thought they would. We do know, obviously, with the development cycle with Halo Infinite, things have been, pretty much shut down and closed off. There's really no new multiplayer component for anything. I mean, now what's going on with this? Like, saying, like, where is it at? And
Shadow Drop?
Again, I hope so. I don't want to be negative Nancy on this, but I don't give this studio benefit of the doubt or anything. I just don't.
I think it's completely fair.
Yeah, I just don't. I'm sorry. Like, you're not, like, we're going to talk about Undead Last, who I didn't give. And they got stuff I want to talk about, you know what I'm saying? And I'm seeing signs, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, when it comes to Halo Studios, it's just like, I don't have a lot of confidence right now. My biggest thing is land the plane with this easy little layup. And just get this under your belt, restore some level of confidence and consistency to show as a studio you can do a task successfully. And that's still a big thing for them, considering their history. So, yeah, there's certain affinity. I don't have a lot of confidence. I don't know what's going on. Sure. One would think they want, from a business standpoint, one would think you want this multiplayer going. You want a live service going to get money, get engagement going, get multi-platform going. So, yeah, what's up with that?
We'll see. Yeah, I'm just curious where your thoughts were on that, because it feels like it runs the risk of being an overly crammed sort of time for Xbox, and more so because I think we're all like what we talked about at the start of the year. We talk about everything we're expecting, the four horsemen are here, plus your Call of Duty. It's like, that's already a lot to manage. And we're not considering the ones that we've heard about for years that could very well show up. And that was one that was rumored for a while. And I'm like, the omission of Halo 1 multiplayer, I know it's not like treasured multiplayer. It's not widely celebrated multiplayer, but it's still part of that package, right? And to not do it, I'm like, that's a choice. Yeah. And I got to wonder what the reason for that choice is, just because you didn't want to do it, because it's already available in Master Chief Collection, but you could argue the campaign's already available in Master Chief Collection. So why? And it's like, well, if you had that Halo multiplayer, whatever this game is coming up as well, like you shadow drop that in June and then say next month campaign evolves out.
Yeah.
Could do that.
I agree. And look, I love what you said. Like, Halo 1 multiplayer is still iconic, like Blood Gulch and what is it? Hang 'em High and the classic maps and iconic stuff. So like you could still ride the nostalgic train with another glow up. And again, because it's coming to PlayStation, it's coming to new platforms, you could get away with your little excuse. So it is interesting. So I have to guess it's a costing, I have to guess it's take the least route of resistance. And I don't know if that's the right decision. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know how much money was spent, or I should say lost, with the Halo Infinite situation. Yeah. Right. So that could be, sunk cost fallacy kind of thing. And it's like, hey, we ain't got it. We all that's up. We got to stop the investment. We're not seeing what we want to do. We over invested with this game and didn't do the return. So the corporate side of me thinks that they took L's crazy and now they're in cost cutting. Let's do what's cheap and effective. And, I get that. I'm not going to go crazy on this one. But to your point, your question before, where is the new multiplayer suite? Where is the future of Halo going outside of campaign? What's the next thing? Because that's what I'm most concerned about. Mm-hmm. You have to now create something new. You have not shown that you've been able to create new and successful. You just haven't. So I just treat you like the wayward child in the house, that you're the one in the house. All the kids are misbehaving, but we always got to talk with you. We always got to have a sit down with you, you know what I'm saying? And we'll get to that.
Yes, we will. We'll see. I just wanted to pick your brain a little bit on that. For me, I'm just, hoping Halo turns out well. And this project's more important than I think people really consider, because I think those who are in the Halo community know, like, you fuck this up, you can't remake 2, you can't remake 3. Like, the stakes are the lowest with 1, because you could at least argue, I love Halo 1's campaign, but even as someone who loves it, you could argue there are like very mild issues that you could look at and be like, hey, the library is like 45 minutes long in its hallways. How do we change that? Right. And so when 343 first started working on Halo in the anniversary edition, they were like, okay, we're going to change the graphics mode and we're going to put arrows on the floor. So at least you know what direction to go in. It's a little change, but it helped. With the remake, though, you're like, okay, maybe you redesign that level and maybe cut that down just a little bit, right? Like, there are changes you can make, but when you start getting beyond Halo 1, you get into the territory of highly defensive Halo fans that think every game from that point on is perfect. Because Halo 2 was such an impossible video game. People know that story. Chris Raygun will tell you all about it.
Oh, yeah, Chris knows that story.
Halo 3, you want to talk about a perfect video game. Literally up there, bro. Like that's one of the most perfect video games I've personally played. Reach, Like, they obviously are thinking about if they remake Halo 1, I'm sure there's a foundation level of this project. Like, we're going to build this new asset library. We're going to sell a game with the asset library we built by making Halo 1 and then go on to make the new Halo stuff with this. But I'm sure they're also looking at it like, hey, if this does well, we should remake Halo 2 and 3. But if this is how people are reacting right now and kind of the is up in the air now before we even get to 2 and 3, it's only going to get worse for them. So they have to nail this, because if they don't, I think the noise will be as loud as an Infinite failure, because again, they will have no clear path. You fucked up the main line. You soft rebooted and ruined it again. So what do you soft reboot again? You continue that story in a book. So what do you do now? You fucked up let's say they fuck up this remake. It's like, what do you do now? You sure shit better not be touching the next one. So that's the point. That's the conundrum we're in now, right? Like, I don't envy their position. So that's why with this release date, and obviously the stories we'll talk about now, it's like, it's imperative they nail this and restore some confidence in Halo, whether it be through certain affinity or 343, we'll see. But it's imperative that whatever Halo products come out this year, they really bring this base back in a massive way and make people feel good about this again. That there is no, like, Asha Sharma has talked a lot about the return to Xbox. That's actually like our next topic. There would be no greater return to Xbox than getting Halo right. And so we'll find out in July.
Preaching. That's why I'm happy with this news. It looks like they're ready.
Right.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. That'll be it for now with Halo Studios. We'll see what they have in store for us later in the show. For now, let's turn to Xbox finally starting to take the easy W's. Cog, I was thinking of us on the show just begging for these last 2 years. Like, yeah, they always find a rake to step on. We know it's not going to change the fate of the generation, but just shoring up the base with easy decisions being made that'll make them happy, to show you care about that core fan, and that core fan will go and talk about how great their experience is in the Xbox ecosystem. Like, that can go so far for them. Well, it looks like between shutting down This Is an Xbox and also changes like this with their achievement system, Xbox might be starting to, at least right now, you never want to speak too soon with them, listen closely and make the right changes. This is one that no doubt you've heard Cog and I bitch and moan about a lot. So Xbox posted today that available now for Xbox insiders are improvements to achievements. They're getting a visual refresh. So now they'll match your custom color. So if you set up, for example, red or green, of course, the default for your Xbox, whatever your custom color is, that'll connect to your achievements. They've kind of redone some of the art for rare achievements to kind of give them a new glow up, a little gradient wipe across them. So they've done a little bit of a visual refresh there. They allow you to hide games from your achievement list as well. So now what happens is, like, if PlayStation did this, when you get that 0% trophy game, you could just delete that off your trophy list. Really nice to have. Yes. For those of you who are like me and you like to sit down and go through your friends' achievements, talk about achievements with your friends, trophies with your friends, getting rid of the ones that are 0%ers, huge addition here. Also just hiding games that, like, even 1-2%, like, I barely played that. I don't need that on my list. I like to keep my list organized. I know people like Colin do. So I thought this was good. And you can also highlight your 100% completed games. So if you want to, like, sift through your achievement list and find the ones that you've put the most time into, gotten the most achievements for, you can just simply do this by selecting a filter. And so they mentioned here at the bottom, I think the key point here is this. This is a small but meaningful step in a broader set of improvements we're making to achievements. We're continuing to explore new ways to recognize completion and milestone moments over time. And this update is one of our first steps towards celebrating those moments. And honestly, dude, I thought we'd be waiting until Helix for this to even start. It started to bring about the conversation if social media is anything to go by. Certainly don't want to live and die by it, but started to see a little bit of, like, who was the problem before all this? Like, why are these things happening now? Why are these obvious, easy, give the fans what they want style wins happening now? So we'll see. As you and I have talked, Asha still has to earn it, but, like, every day we get closer to that, like, first year ending and it being sort of her calls across the board. Like, is this something she inherited or not? Frankly, in this case, dude, I don't care. I'm just like, dude, I'm glad they're finally fucking doing something. So Cog, you have waxed poetic about this in the past. I want to pass it to you. Please let me know how you're feeling about Xbox finally starting to update the achievement system.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. This is what they have ushered in. They gave us achievements. You know, Xbox doesn't get a lot of credit a lot of times, but achievements was something magical when we first got them.
Yeah.
And, I never forget the gamer score battle. It was so funny when they first came out because, like, me and King used to have these battles. And my man, shout out to my man, Mr. Ha. We would go to Blockbuster and rent easy achievement games like NHL 95, and you just do foolish, NHL, whatever it was back then. And you just do like 5 things and you get the 1,000 gamer score. And then the flex.
Burning Earth. I got it in my collection because you can get the first 1,000 gamer score in like 2 minutes.
Bro,
so funny. Yeah.
Shout out to games like Ben-Hur Chariot Racing or something. And you just go around the map. Like, it was so, bro, we would wake up each morning.
You farm your gamer score.
Yeah, that mother. Oh, he got. All right, let me see what he did. Okay, you know what I'm saying? And then, like, it was that energy when they first came out, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I come from that era, and yes, as I've got older, I've stopped with it. And then obviously games they realized the hustle that bro. It was a big thing. Developers were getting in trouble. Because that was a indie developers, the number one way to get engagement on your game was to make the achievements easy. And Xbox had to crack down.
They were shovelware. They were just like, get 1,000 gamer store for like hitting the start button. It's like, you can't. It's not a game. You can't really sell that.
It was an era to be in, man. So shout out to that. And then obviously expanded. I remember one of the biggest things that they took away that I used to like was called like Achievement Showcase. I don't know if you remember this. I believe Xbox One Energy. So remember, this is not now Xbox achievement art starts coming out, right? And I remember Rise of the Road had the fly art for each little achievement with Marius and, all that. And like, you could put the 5 achievements you were most proud of, the art on your Xbox profile. I used to flex guys that did like Gears of War seriously that had that, that one, like kill them, 10,000, locusts or whatever. Like there's certain achievement, like the people who come from Call of Duty legendary campaign, a veteran mode, like veteran, when you beat veteran, there was some joint back in the day. Like it was certain ones you were proud. So I used to rotate that. They took that away. I love this going back to the essence because Xbox created this. They are the trailblazers here. Like, let's get back. You can't create something and they get lapped in your own space and you got PlayStation doing platinums, you know what I'm saying? So that's the next thing. I want platinums. But to your question, it is good. Why did this take so long? And also to your point, we thought this might be a Helix thing, and they're just waiting for the next platform, the next ecosystem to give us all the new features we've been asking for. The fact that they're doing all these things now is a great sign. I don't know why, but we will give credit. Asha, you're doing a fantastic early job. And one thing that I'm seeing shine through, whether it's advisement or not, you pulled the trigger to get it done regardless. And that's what's most, that's all I care about. So, and what I'm hoping here is her user acquisition experience shining through as far as what gets people from a retention standpoint and to care about the brand, because everything seems very pro brand right now. And I like that. I like that. This is great. This is great. This is a great start. And to your last point, it seems like they said more is to come. They're not finished. Let's go. Keep it going. I like this.
Yeah, I agree. Making sure that it's clear that there's more on the way, I think, was part of this. Because I think most people are like, okay, this is good. But like knowing that they're going to keep going, they all know where our head's at, especially when they say a meaningful step towards making achievements count where they recognize completion and milestone moments. That's getting the 100%. Like they know. And so I think what they're doing is because their ecosystem is more connected, and at least that's the plan, that like the Series X is going to be part of whatever the Helix is doing. Like you make a SKU for that, you're making a SKU for your Series X. And so I think they're just starting to pull the trigger on things they may have been sitting on. Yeah. And just being like, let's just get the ball rolling on this stuff because it's all going to be there. There is no like, you're either on the Series X or you're on Helix, whatever it may be, you're going to get our games. Or you're on PlayStation. If they still stick with multiplat, you're going to get our games. So I think it's very clear that they're just starting to be like, let's just grab these fucking easy W's, dude. Like, obviously, this is going to make fans happy. And like, we're just seeing it add up. Like, it's not going to change the fate of the generation. They're not going to suddenly outsell PlayStation or something like that. But certainly there is a benefit to improving the optics around your brand where you're making the players there happy. Not just like the fanboys, but like the actual just people who want to play here. Right. And making them turn their head your way and just making it a little bit more of a, hey, I like to hunt trophies. The reason for me, I started buying some games on PlayStation by default was because I know I like trophies. I don't always get the platinum, but if I like a game enough, I dream about that platinum. Like, you know what, let me go get it. So I like to know I have that option. So by default, I know Xbox doesn't have that crown jewel or that platinum, whatever they end up calling it. If Xbox had that or added to this system in a new way, a different way to celebrate my milestone, get me back on the platform that way. Like, I know I'm not speaking to the millions out there when it comes to like how many people make that decision. Maybe I am, but at least the hundreds of thousands. And those little, like, look up videos on YouTube of people doing platinum trophy hunts. It's a huge community.
Bro.
Like millions of people watching those videos every week. People love the hunt. And so if Xbox can get people on the hunt for their stuff, where, you know, platinum trophies equal whatever they do, and then taking another step forward, that would be huge, I think. So
you're on fire.
Yeah.
I mean, because to me, it's like, from a corporate standpoint, it's stupid not to do it because it's literally a leader of engagement. You're getting people to stay on the game longer to achieve this aspirational content. Like, why are we not doing this, right? Yeah. And I do want to give another credit to the team's, you know, platform and Asha and Jason Ronald, or whoever, you know what I'm saying, who's all involved with this, because I just saw today the ROG Ally, it's an insider right now. They just added a feature that allows you in Xbox mode. You don't have to use no armory crate and all that. That whenever you know how the problem with the ROG Ally sometimes, where it's like once you get out of, you know, the directional pad mode and you go into a section where you know, damn, I got to use a mouse and keyboard here. Now they have like a Xbox analog becomes the cursor thing. Automatically turn it on so you don't have these moments of breakage when you're going between storefronts or screens or web. And I'm like, that's the synergy we've been asking for. These are the things that break it. Shout out to my man, the Fox, you know, who does the does a lot of handheld reviews. Stellar guy. I posted it. He was like, oh my God, Cog, we're getting finally the things that we've been wanting. So I have to think this is her, and I have to think that, you know, this is where she's looking at. Because she's actually alluded to this on socials, where she's looking at like, tell me the top 5 things that you won and things that you're missing. I think she's going through that. And these are easy W. And it's what I call, instead of death by 1,000, it's like life by 1,000 cuts. Like, you keep doing these little things, right? You heal the patient. You get people excited. Great, fantastic start. I have to give credit right now. It's early, but nice little wins. Keep it up.
Yeah, certainly at this rate, people are going to be really looking back on Phil's tenure and just wondering what gives. If like these decisions end up continuing to look as easy as they've been, like her shutting down This Is an Xbox, and it happening that quickly, by the way. Like she came in and like that's one that you could see, like she came in and that got deleted pretty fast. Like when the order is given, it's being acted upon quickly. So certainly over time, we'll have to kind of, I think, assess that tenure by Phil, because if these decisions were that easy, where were they looking? I mean, we kind of know that with This Is an Xbox, they're looking beyond. Like they were very convinced. Like, I do fear that if Asha continues to kind of give the people what they want that easily, that quickly, that readily, that it will not look good for Phil, because of like he was a transitionary sort of, or she's transitioning from where he was mid-generation. So
I disagree, just for the record. I know what you're doing.
I'm just saying, take an honest look, bro. Like, not you specifically, but I'm saying broadly speaking, like I went in very skeptical about Asha. I'm going to remain that way because, as we talked about, when we see her more independent, right? That is when we'll truly assess. However, with her putting go ahead.
No, it's just funny because it's like, I've been here from the beginning with this thing, and I don't want to minimize what you're saying.
Go ahead.
She's doing amazing things. People forget, with Phil's start, it was the same thing. Decouple from collect, get indies, get all these. Like, it was literally the same thing. I'm not trying to minimize. What I'm trying to say is the question that you raised that I think is the most valid, and this is, let me take my emotions out of it, is why towards the second half or the end of Phil and Sarah's tenure, why did these things not happen? I think that's the best question, because in the beginning it did happen, right? So that's what I got. Like, also to your point, the way I look at it is, you know how like, damn, I don't want to use that example. That's a bad example. Let's use another example. You know how like it doesn't matter. Like, I'll use me as an example, right? Lords of Gaming.
Mhm.
If we do something on a site that is really bad or reflects badly, right? You know, we made a mistake, we do something crazy, right? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it's my editor that keeps on messing up. You know what I'm saying? Right?
Mhm.
It's going to be a reflection on me, right? They're going to come to me. So to me, it's just like chain of command, or to your point, if I have too much love for someone that is continually messing up, then yeah, the blame definitely falls on me. But I do think that we do forget who's actually in charge of certain things, who's actually from a middle management standpoint. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, who's doing the day to day, right? And I think that's how I internalize it, because we have to be real. Like, Phil wasn't in charge of every little single minutia thing, but at the top level, that's what I want. I just want to get the structure right, because I think everything is being like, well, why Phil didn't do this? Why Phil didn't? And I get it. I just want to say that there is a hierarchy, but overall, no one cares about that, because they're going to say it was your reign, right? And I just wanted to put a little context on it. That's all. But fair is fair. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. I think it's a good counterpoint. It's more so just, again, as we continue to see these decisions add up, you know, I don't think she crosses off and checks off each and every single one of them. But certainly it looks like there's been a reassessment since she's come in, and that certain more positive, easy win decisions are flowing. But yeah, you're right that, to be fair, Phil coming off of Don was like the same thing. Like, God, we couldn't get out of there quicker. Here comes Phil. This guy gets it. Here's Game Pass. Here's this. Here's that. The question will really be, I think, that defines Asha, and we'll be able to assess this later, is it easier to undo damage, or is it easier to make actual progress? So we shall see.
Good call.
This next one, speaking of doing damage, Mass Effect. Oh boy. Got this right in from Neo JD that we'll read in a moment here. But we have a report from the Ankler, and it's been covered by IGN. They write, the Ankler reports that Peter Friedlander, who stepped in as head of Global TV, Amazon MGM Studios in October, has set about reading scripts so that he can make firm decisions on Prime Video's many in development projects. One of these is Mass Effect, which he, based on the report, still sounds like it could go either way. Friedlander has apparently requested rewrites to make Mass Effect, which the Ankler describes as a pricey series genre drama, more appealing to non-gamers. It is said to be on the verge of a series order. So we have the write-in from Neo JD. He says, did you guys see the news about Mass Effect's show having to be rewritten to be more appealing to non-gamers? My Master Cheeks red flag went up instantly. Pause. But since it's Amazon, hopefully they take a page out of Fallout's book and don't lose sight of the tone. Thanks, and we have iconic armor, but we're not going to wear it because you need to see the humanity in blank stares kind of day. Thank you, Neo, for your write-in. Yeah, I mean, given that this guy is coming in right before Fallout Season 2, you hope that he'll just kind of look at like how Season 2, for better or for worse, leaned heavily into the lore. I think got a little hardcore with it, to the point where, like, even someone who's like a Fallout diehard, I'm like, geez, they really went deep with that. Like, when they start bringing up Canadian stuff, like, I don't think the show makes it explicitly clear why Canada is a problem. But if you're a Fallout fan, you know why Canada is a problem for the Americans. You're like, oh, because that one loading screen in Fallout 3, like, that told us a lot there. And then Operation Anchorage, and they kind of build on it. So they went pretty hardcore with it, I think, while still keeping it visually familiar for those who had only played Fallout 4. I say all that because he should see how it's really worked in favor of Fallout and just leave it to creative heads. But this is the second red flag to pop up for the Mass Effect show, right? Started off with like Daniel Casey, writer of Fast and Furious 9, writing and producing this show. I'm like, okay. Ari Arid helping produce the show. Okay. You know Ari Arid's fucking portfolio? This guy is like Borderlands, Morbius. Like, this dude only knows hot ass, dude. Like, he's got, like, if you look at his portfolio, it's absurd. And then there's Mike Gamble, who I'm like, yeah, great. Like, Mike Gamble's awesome. Love Mike Gamble. But he is surrounded by some of the most uninspiring talent right now. And then you add in, on top of that, executive pressure to be like, make it for people who don't know shit about Mass Effect. And what's crazy, and I know you're going to go in on this, guy, is Mass Effect is so broadly appealing already. What non-gamer changes do we make? So, Cog, hit me with it. And by the way, Cog actually watched Halo, so he's been through this. I skipped Halo because I knew, and I was like, I'm good on that. Shout out to Cog though. Cog and Ad calling down the spoiler cast review discussion on the Halo season. Yeah, that was glad you guys did that. I appreciate you looking at it.
I think you and Rand abstained. It was funny too. You're like, I'm good. I've heard enough. I don't even need to watch it. And you guys are living your best life. You're quite fine not having to deal with
quite
this.
Fine.
Whoa, this is so disheartening. And I'm sick of lack of IP respect. You know, I'm sick of this continued. This is when the money people get in the room and they go, yo, this could be huge. Okay, we see the engagement, we see the popularity. Let's do it. And it's like, well, why does Commander Shepard do that? You know, we got to get this other demographic. You know, when people start, the MCU fell guilty to this. Like, start catering the demographics that don't care about your product, and you lose sight of the beauty of what makes it amazing. And it's so frustrating because this screams Halo Paramount TV show to me. Like, I feel like those conversations, like, let's have, like JD said about, let's just have Master Chief just walk with his mask off all the time. You know, let's make it a special moment. Why do we have to do that? And it's just like, there's certain things, you know, and again, I'm not going to spoil too much, but they made one of the most horrendous decisions with a human person and the Covenant that to this day, I was just like,
that's the thing. It haunts you. That's why we can't have it, because you brought this up years ago and it's still haunting you.
It scarred me. I'm like, because I want to know in the meeting rooms, in these creative, who say, yo, you know what'll be fire?
Yeah.
You know what it'd be fine? Like, bro, let's just do this wild thing that never has been done in the history of the series with no context. And it's just mind blowing. And Mass Effect is beloved. You know, that's one of my goats. Mass Effect 2 is my goat. And to hear them like, let's appeal to non-gamers. Why? Case in point, if you want to say that they won't make a good movie, you know, critically acclaimed because you're worried about Rotten Tomatoes, guess what? I just saw the Super Mario Galaxy movie, right? And people, they destroyed the critics. Oh, it's the worst. But do you see that user score? Right? Yeah. And here's the key. You could even say, okay, from a movie standpoint, and this is not spoiling this, I'm just reading reviews. I don't want anybody who didn't see Super Mario just yet. People were like, yo, it didn't have, you know, a true, we could demand better. And that's fine. But tell that to these kids. Tell that to people who love the thing. You can say nostalgia bait. You can say whatever you want to say. But people are showing up in droves and they're passionate because they feel source material is respected. They're getting the, oh my God, I remember that. That's what we want to see from Mass Effect. I want to know what it is when Rex gets on the screen. I want to know when you're in V-Wire and there's an iconic thing. I want to know about Ashley, the space racist. I want to know. I want all that. I want all that catered with his boring self and, you know what I'm saying, my man Thane. And I want all of, like, it's so much. Like when Saren hits the screen for the first time, the human spectre. These are iconic step out moments. And if you start messing with this, like, oh, how does the 18 to 15 demographic feel about that? Maybe we should change that and, you know, do some TikTok dances in here and like
Shepherd flossing.
You know what I'm saying? I think that's what they want. Like, they want more club seeds. And I worry, bro. This screams Paramount TV Halo series to me. I hope I'm wrong. The only thing that's giving me a slither of hope is what you said with Gamble being in the building, right?
Yeah, he's got so much work cut out for him, bro. This is a uphill battle.
I'm just worried about all the people he got to fight to get the sign-offs on this IP, and that troubles me. This is an iconic franchise. Please retain the core tenets of what makes it that. So we'll reserve judgment, but I do not like that verbiage at all.
I completely agree. Now, with that in mind, Cog, I want to pass one more question your way. Knowing what we know so far about the Mass Effect TV show, which is that, according to Mike Gamble himself, this is a show that will not be about Shepard's story. It'll be a new story, because Shepard's story, he said, is our story. As in, I imagine whenever Mass Effect 5 comes around, it's going to be continuing off of those. If it is a brand new story without any of the characters and things that we know from that trilogy, and including Andromeda, that we know and love, do you think it's okay to still write for non-gamers, knowing that it's not attached to the hip to the things that we know and love already about this series?
I still think it's a mistake. There's certain things that make Mass Effect,
Mm.
the relays and Reapers, and there's certain things, right? And you have the source material, you have the lore, right? But you have to have choice and consequence. You have to have humanity's role in this whole thing. I just don't like this vibe. A good call out on the fact that, if they've already said they're not doing the Shepherd story, forgive me for my rant on that.
No, it's not your bad, because I mean, there's still always, that doesn't mean that they're not going to pull elements from it or build off of it, like that. So you're good. Like it could be a number of things.
It's and we do know, put it this way, we do know based on the alien physiology, right? There's certain races still exist and certain characters still exist. So, you could do amazing fan service callbacks to certain races and characters, right? And that's what we want to see, without necessarily being a Shepherd story. So you can't lose sight of that. People will go crazy if they see certain things that will go, yo, they did that, kind of thing. So I'm pulling for Gamble. That's all I'm saying. I hope he has enough pull in the building to fight for things that make this Mass Effect.
Yeah, I share in your concerns, top to bottom, because what's, I think, not considered by many is that this is going to be the new beginning for Mass Effect. I wouldn't be surprised if we see this syncing up around the time we start to see Mass Effect 5. I imagine Mass Effect 5 is a little bit ahead of this TV show if it still hasn't been ordered to shoot and everything, but some shows come together quickly. Who knows? But the reality is that this is going to be the introduction of Mass Effect for so many people. And BioWare has already successfully killed one of their own brands with Dragon Age. Like Veilguard did irreparable damage to the point where you have to restart when you go back to that, if you go back to that. But something like Mass Effect, even at its worst with Andromeda, was still good, like fun to play, engaging in a lot of ways too. But like, that is your treasured brand. This TV show can take you to the moon, dude. Pardon the pun, I guess. But like, it really can. It is a show that, or a brand that is ready for an even bigger audience. Like Fallout was already big, just like Mass Effect's already big, but it can be next level. Like you'll see, like I saw one of my friends, Kyle Elizabeth, she does like a lot of BioWare, CD Projekt angle content. She's really great. Nice. And she was talking about how on Twitter, she mentioned that like when she walked into Hot Topic, she saw like Fallout merch there, and she was thinking about how, Mass Effect stuff will be there at some point. And like, that's, it's going to be on that level where it's like, not just like, oh, I found an Archangel t-shirt. Like I did it like a little booth at PAX. Like that's amazing. Like it's going to be readily available and accessible. And they need to know that because they have to nail it, because this is going to define the expectations. Like BioWare has really taken some public black eyes, and like they really need to fight to make this incredible. And I don't think they can lay flat. So I'm really, the main reason I made a video talking about this news on my Maddie Slop channel, I literally said in the video, I was like, please show the people in the room this, Mike Gamble, like show them my comment section. I said, they will be making fun of the person who is trying to make this call right now. Lo and behold, I was on the money, of course. I mean, who the fuck reads this in the gaming community? Is like, yep, non-gamers, sounds good to me.
Sounds great.
I'm with you though on what you said to open this all up. The lack of respect for the brand. It's not rocket science anymore. Like, I understand why there was a period of time where we went, okay, to grow, we need to look beyond a little bit, break some conventions and break down some walls and try to like do some other things to get more people in. But because we got away from that, now, again, I go back to gaming because I think it's a great example. The purest form of video games and its most successful, whether it be this year with Crimson Desert or prior years in Elden Ring and Baldur's Gate 3, like, can you imagine if like, what would have brought Larian more success if they looked at Baldur's Gate 3 and said, we're already changing how cinematics work. Let's make this action combat. Let's make this like really simple and approachable. Or if they went with the combat system that just like, yep, permadeath, we're going to fuck you up. These fights are going to go on for like an hour. It's really tactical, high level shit. Good luck. 20 plus million copies sold. Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. Mostly full price, also that. Let's throw that into the mix. the hardcore has been rewarded through and through. People want good, authentic shit. And it's no surprise that it's not BioWare making this call. It's the people with the money making this call. And so a little scary, like coming in, new guy, it seems, and he's just looking at the new set of shows and he's like, all right, how do I make these broadly appealing so we get the maximum subscribers on Prime Video? And, that his first order of business is Mass Effect. I've never heard of that. The fuck is this, right? And like, so I'm with you completely that the lack of respect is inexcusable at this point, because we do know better. Higher ups should know better that they should just be here to oversee the creatives and put money in their pocket and check them at most, but not to get creatively involved.
That's the theme. I love that statement you just said. That's the theme. Stay out of the way of creatives, I feel like. You know what I'm saying? Like, empower them. Don't get in the way of them.
It's just not your job. Like, and that's, again, it's one thing where we were transitioning, like, 2013 to 2019, where we're figuring this shit out. But like, it's become obvious for a while now, like, just enough. Like, you're not right. You all don't know. You're an executive for a reason. Money. You're Mr. Krabs. Hi, I like money. Perfect. You stick with that.
Yes.
Creatives, artists, writers, even programmers, like, they know their trade.
Yes.
And you hire them because they know that trade very well, right? So trust them a little bit. Trust them that the reason Mass Effect was popular and the reason you guys started talking about a TV show in the first place is because the games were great and they had a big audience and there was broad appeal of potential already with what was there. I don't know how we get to the point of starting the project and then resetting and being like, this thing that's existed for a while and is very popular and has sold quite well and is generational in games and widely celebrated. Let's talk TV show. Okay, now how do we make this appealing for everyone? It already fucking is, dude. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's frustrating when you talk about it more. You're like, it already fucking is.
Preach.
Right there.
And what I don't like is they do these things and the executive who overrules everyone has no repercussion for the failure, the consistent failure, and the creatives get fired. Mm-hmm. That's the funny part about this whole situation. They make the bullheaded calls that the creators fight against. Mm-hmm. It flops. Creatives lose job.
And like, thanks,
what
Mike.
What are we doing here?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm with you. So hopefully they see. I mean, it sounds like it's still on the verge. Like, they're not ordering it yet, but like, I really hope that the feedback reached the top. And like, if I'm Mike, I am grabbing every video, every article, and every comment section being like, look, dude, please give us a chance to not die out the gate. Please. So we'll see. Best of luck to Mike Gamble.
Salute.
Next up here, another fun little Xbox thing happening that we talked about before. I just wanted to document that more is happening on the back end here. All right. So back at GDC, they talked about back compat for Xbox, and they mentioned how it seems like they're looking for back compat on PC. Well, Pure Xbox writes this on their website, where apparently Xbox has been relisting more backwards compatible games and then delisting them again. And these aren't your usual ones, right? That's what's interesting about this. These aren't the usual ones like, oh, there's Transformers again. This time they say, whatever the case may be, there's been an interesting discovery by the Better xCloud Twitter X account recently, which has pointed out that Xbox has been relisting and then quickly delisting multiple backwards compatible games. The specific games that they found are Armed and Dangerous, I Just Wing, and Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time, which all of them were delisted from the Xbox store some time ago, while Mars More Warlogs has been quietly delisted too. They say, as you can see, the account originally thought that the Armed and Dangerous relist and delist might have just been a simple mistake, but now it has happened with multiple games, and they're starting to question whether or not it's an intentional move. And ultimately, this is left to be anyone's guess, but given Xbox is talking back compat, I think more and more it's becoming clear that like library is going to might expand too. So we'll see. But Cog, your thoughts on more movement on the back end here with back compat?
No, they're flirting again. They're messing with my heart again. I know. It seems to be more frequent though, right? It seems to be these kind of oopsie, mistakes that we catch it. Listen, you want to talk about easy W's, Asha? You start getting these back compats. You start getting the Activision.
Told you, bro. You want me back?
Bro, you get Maddie right back in the
those classic games. Bro, I'm joining King David at the front of the line.
Facts.
I will have weapon in hand. You can say nothing bad about them now.
Let me explain to you. It's so funny because when I talk to you, it's like talking to Addict because you guys have similar exact taste.
Yes,
it's crazy.
Very similar taste.
And like he was telling me, he's like, he's like, I know for you, man, and all that. He's like, I should do this, and this. I don't care. He's like, this is the leadership thing for me. I was like, you're a traitor. I was messing with, we do this fun little game. But I feel it, and that's the sentiment. Like these are like heartfelt wins. We already talked about Fan Fest last week. Like you get these back compat games that people have been complaining about. It's going to be up. Now, granted, remember, we got to give Jason Ronald credit with the last at GDC with the Helix stuff. And he had threw the little dart out there about back compat and revisiting. And I was like, oh, they doing something, right? But we keep getting these little nuggets, whether they're data mined or whatever. This is good stuff. I remember Aegis Wing. I'm looking at it right now. And it was an Xbox Live arcade game. It was a 4-player side-scroller shooter in the realm of like R-Type and Thunder Force. I love games like that. And it was really good. It was simple, but it was good. Hey, you do this stuff, man. I need Maddie smiling. I need smiling Maddie thumbnail. You give me Maddie smiling thumbnail, I'll give that to you.
Hey, look, you got a smiling Maddie thumbnail when they started to tease back compat. I was smiling in that one. Like Xbox, it's real fucking easy for you guys. Like I'm giving you layups right now. So
King is so he's like, I don't care what you say, Kyle. He's like, so far, shit's good for business. I said you trade. But
everyone's abandoning the Phil ship, man. Come on.
Listen, I feel you know what it is? I'm a loyal friend.
No, I'm teasing. We do need. It's good that we, as two hosts of an Xbox show, are willing to hold Asha's feet to the fire because I feel like very few are willing to. We're willingly celebrate the W's without losing our heads and be like, that's it. She's goated. Like I think there's a clear will. Like I'm not talking about just like fanboys in this case. There is clearly across gaming like a desire for her to win, though.
Yes.
I think people want her to do very well. Like I've noticed like the replies to her and stuff are just like people who I follow who I didn't even know had an interest in Xbox are just like, yeah, you might be actually the GOAT. Like, okay. I'm like, oh, shit. Okay. So there is a willingness for, I think her to have some victories here because people want Xbox to be great and she's like a signal of what could come. But we'll see, Cog. We'll see. We're not going to fully jump ship yet. Exactly. I'll go down with you and Phil. All right, we're going to go underwater. Just give
me like year 2.
2027 will be telling.
No doubt.
All right. Last bit of news before we get into what games are playing here. Let's talk a bit about the Steam Deck 2 here. So Kepler, who is a leaker on NeoGAF, had talked a bit about Steam Deck 2, and we have the recap here from Tweaktown. They write in a post on NeoGAF, Kepler says the last thing he had heard about Steam Deck 2 is the aforementioned 2028 timing, but things get pushed back due to the global tech shortages afflicting multiple sectors and industries, including gaming. Valve has delayed the reveal of its Steam Machine pricing due to higher costs, saying that it plans to launch the console sometime this year. Quote, they were targeting 2028 as far as I know, but the whole RAM/NAND situation could delay it. Also, since they don't have semi-custom SoC, unlike the PS6 and Xbox, if it gets delayed, it could end up with better specs, end quote, Kepler said in response to a question asking about the Steam Deck 2. So what's starting to happen now is like Valve clearly had this like multi-year rollout planned for their hardware, and no one's been fucked harder over this AI push than them. I think Xbox and PlayStation will find a way, but no one's been worked over worse than them. Awful timing. Empty Zero has the writing. He says, howdy, Dukes. Based on the reporting this week, it sounds like Steam Deck 2 is potentially targeting 2028. Do you expect to see a 3-way handheld showcase in 28 between Steam, Xbox, and PlayStation? Will 2028 be a switch to OLED? As a handheld player all my life, I am loving this renaissance. Have a now someone make one that actually fits in your pocket kind of day, and Empty took it right out of my, yep. That's exactly what I was about to say. I didn't know he had that at the end. I was about to say, well, hopefully one of them can fit in my pocket. It's so funny he brings that up. Yeah, I completely agree. Cog, your thoughts on the Steam Deck news, though? Oh, you're muted still.
Sorry. Thank you. Didn't know about this professional podcast. Yeah, man, this was. I didn't realize. I haven't talked to Jimmy in a while. I guess I've been paying attention to Champagne to see what's going on with Deck Ready and all that stuff. But yeah, like you said before, they definitely affected the most, as far as their rollout. Because remember, they had, the Steam Machine, the base joint, and then they had like, potential
the frame.
The frame, and then this clearly must be part of the family to do Steam Deck 2. And the Steam Deck was an amazing launch, right? They showed how much people did have a desire for a device like that. And, Linux and that UI is just chef's kiss, right? It's really good. So to see what they would do, the improvements, more power would be great. I got to be honest, though. I'm curious what Jimmy, we got to talk to him about this, is that I am worried about them now. The AI RAM crisis to me has hurt them the most. They've still not been able to target, a mainline date as to when they can drop and then the prices. And I think there's a new contender that they need to worry about because remember, like I said last, Duke, PlayStation treat y'all like the ops right now, in my opinion. PlayStation is like, yeah, we're removing this now. We're playing a little different with our releases with you. We're removing the idea of PC logos and, verbiage from a lot of our marketing and our advertising. And now with the latest leaks, I don't know if you pay attention to PS6 with their handheld and how they may be trying to come into a Mr. Matty Plays sweet spot price.
Oh, I've not heard this. Fill me in.
Yeah, so pretty much there's some rumors that's been going on, conflicting between obviously Moore's Law's Dead and Kepler, but the base idea is that yes, PS6 might have that higher price point, but the PS6 handheld, I believe it's Project Canis, that's the handheld one. I think there's Orion is the big boy and but there may be a spec that they come in with. I believe the GPU or something like that is bigger than a Series S and all the upscaling technology, like the PSSR is like, pause, the pisser is moving out here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so like pisser 3, you know what I'm saying? And whatever these upscaling technology that Mark Cerny is cooking up. And if they could get a nice sweet spot, again, these are rumors, 600-700 or whatever, and they get in the mix. Now you've got a Sony who, again, the plethora of IPs who, in my opinion, I'm sorry, Switch Gang, respect, you're the guy now. But prior to you being the guy, it was that Vita, bro. Like, to me, they are the guy. I love that. I love Sony in the handheld space. That is my biggest desire for them to return back to. And again, the reason why I love Xbox so much, I can go anywhere. I can do it. I want to be able to take PlayStation out of my living room and continue my experiences with a native thing. No disrespect to the Portal, but
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So, and what I like is the Portal being successful is emboldening them. Like they're like, oh, people want this. Okay, so I think that where I'm circling back with this with Steam Deck 2 has to be concerned because now if they come out in that same proximity, according to the rumors, if now they say Steam Deck 2 2028, right?
Yeah.
And PlayStation 6 Canis 2027, 2028. You're in that same pocket. Sony's, cachet still high. And if they land that price with the handheld, hey, I guess it gets interesting in the handheld war. So I'm with Empty Zero. It's a renaissance. It's exciting. I love to see. My only, regrets as an Xbox fan is like, damn it, man. Like, we talked about this.
Yeah, they're going to look like the follower now. Yeah.
I know. If we talked about this.
They were like right there front line. They were the rumor mill before everyone else. But
yeah,
I guess the benefit, if glass half full mentality here is like, it looks as if the ROG Ally was very needed. I think they clearly needed to test a lot of shit out. That is a very expensive beta test, but that beta test seems to be ironing out a lot of kinks. And it might just be the price worth paying. I don't know, because at least you might get a really good handheld experience when that thing comes around. It's something to be said, though, that like PlayStation, Nintendo don't really need to do the whole public testing to get that right. I'm tired of treating Microsoft and Xbox like this little indie startup that's like just figuring things out, scrappy little, they're fighting their way. We don't need that shit. But like at the end of the day, if this thing blew, I think that might hurt a little bit more. So
yeah, fair.
Kind of where my head's at on that.
No, good call out.
Cog, let's talk about what games we're playing here. I'd love for you to go up first. Are you going to talk about this first game that's on your list first? Because I do have a write-in for you, if so.
Yes, let's do that.
All right, cool. Raisin has the write-in. It says, greetings. Seeing as the IGN first coverage for Forza Horizon 6 is over and previews will be pouring in soon, can we expect some Forza Horizon 6 preview coverage from the Dukes? Have a playing Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight instead of playing Horizon because I sold my Series F after Forza Horizon 5 came to PlayStation and now I'm jealous that I can't play Horizon 6 day one. Oh, Raisin paying a mighty big price there. Now, Cog, you played Forza Horizon 6. To be clear to the audience, I was not invited to this, and I think I know why. I'm sure if they listen to our show, they're like, do we really want to? And hey, to be fair, I gave Horizon 5 a great preview and review, but they don't want to win me over. That's their choice. Cog, you played it, though. You are the target audience. So hit us with it. How did we enjoy, or not enjoy, maybe, I don't know, Forza Horizon 6?
Yeah, so shout out to Playground Games. Obviously, our embargo is up. We can talk about it. Lloyd's got a chance to cover the preview build for, it was console only, Xbox Series X console only, right? So we played on that, not on PC. And for full disclaimer, what we played is quality mode. So quality mode is 30 frames per second. However, it was explicitly said performance mode is on Series X at full release. It's just for the sake of this build. So it's a vertical slice of pretty much what would be 1 hour into the gameplay and then the introduction to the open world. So pretty much how it starts off is you get like the prologue to the actual festival where they put you in 4 different like races and situations. First thing off the bat, the game is subtle in terms of its look. You're like, okay, is it jumping off the page just yet like the Forza Horizon 5? Not yet. It looks good. Not that it doesn't look good, but you're like, okay, I'm not seeing the huge jump from like maybe 4 to 5 as I'm doing 5 to 6. But what you realize immediately is Japan is a character in itself in this game. Nice. It is absolutely stunning. Like their environment team, as the cops are going by, they're right on cue.
This is perfect. Okay, go ahead.
Forza cops are here. You know what I'm saying? They're here to promote. Bro, right off the bat, it is so gorgeous. And yes, maybe I do have a slight inherent bias because obviously Lord's Road to Tokyo, we did that last year. I am familiar with these locales, the Tokyo Towers, the Shibuya crossings, starting off the first race going side by side with a bullet train as you go to downtown Tokyo, the pagodas, the torii gates, the cherry blossoms, the roads, the way when you look at this game from a model standpoint, the car models look fantastic, but it's the lighting. It's the thing about this game, Maddie, what blew me away was I've seen racing games have the verticality and the density, right? I mean, I've seen it have some verticality, but I've never seen games make the open world verticality and density. And what I mean by this is we're New Yorkers in the sense that we know how highway structure is, and how like you go up a ramp and there's descents and looping curves and there's ascents and there's overlapping of paths, right? New York in particular is a very dense highway kind of a city. Tokyo, when I went to Tokyo, a shout out to my boys, Astro Paris, shout out to, my boy Jimmy Gator. We went to Tokyo Tower. You go to the top of Tokyo Tower, Manny, and you look at Tokyo overhead, you will see, damn, New York ain't got nothing on Tokyo in terms of scope. You're like, oh my God, look how huge this is. They have replicated this to a level that I cannot imagine how much detail and painstaking they went into to put in. But here's the key. It's one thing to do a Hot Wheels track in Forza Horizon 5 where things are looping and it's high. It's another thing to do an open world where if I'm coming this way and you see track, you're seeing this was the breakthrough, oh my God moment. Forza Horizon 5 is not doing this. I was on a road, 2-lane. I'm coming from a highly elevated position, and then we're going down and we're starting to go down a bank and sweep, down a curve, right? 2-lane road. On the left is water, like a beautiful water side, thing going on. You got crowd members on the side of the road. On my right, there's an adjacent road that I'm looking at, and they're coming from an elevation going the opposite way, 2-lane, into cherry blossoms. I'm seeing cars come from that direction, NPC, fully populated, tires screech. I'm like, how are they doing this on this CPU? This is not something I'm used to seeing. Again, Forza Bros, correct me if I'm wrong, because remember, I played Forza Horizon 5. I played Mexico. It's kind of flat. You know what I mean? You don't have that level of city density, but here's the difference, Maddie. The lived-in feel with cars and tracks that you can get to, and it doesn't feel like it's closed off. It's hard to describe this. And I put please, again, plug, check out our video on Iron Lord's podcast. I clipped this moment. I'm like, Attic, he did a fantastic job. I said, you got to put this. This is the difference. So we got that. Now, as far as the gameplay, I guess my only concerns here right now is that they did a lot. Let me start with the one other improvement that was a game changer. You know how like these open world games, let's be honest, you do a GTA, you're like, okay, what am I going to do next? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's so many, get to the festival, do this race, get to this qualifier. After the 4 races, then they let you pick 3 cars. I think it was like a Jimmy, a Celica, and then a Nissan joint. And then it's like, okay, enter 4 qualifying races so then you can earn your right to the festival. So they're taking a different approach where you're just not at the festival, you just start. You've got to kind of like earn your right to go through it and stuff like that. And that's cool. Here's the keys. Anna is their drive, was like their GPS system and stuff like that. Now, you can use Anna in new ways. You can use the satellite mode so you can hover over the car and you can kind of search, you know, when you're doing your bar finds and stuff like that. But the game changer for a guy like me who gets intimidated by what I consider icon vomit on the map and what to do next, there's literally a what's next section, right? And then they tell you the things to recommend to do that you should be doing. Also, you can incorporate that into the GPS. Also, for people who don't like driving in the open world to get from one race to another race, you can put that almost in this autopilot mode where it's this scenic cinematic thing. So the quality of life stuff is there. The question for them is going to be this. Because this is the 6th entry, there's going to be a level of formulaic nature with the festival. The key for them is going to be, what are you doing different? Because that's what we don't get to see in this preview build. You do your 4 races, you do 1 off-road, you do 1, like I said, the scenic mountain joint, you do 1 race in a bullet train into a rock. You do all these cool things. But then when you get to the festival, you get it unlocks the open world. You be in the open world, amazing. Driver tars, amazing. AI behavior, amazing. Bro, shout out to Desolate Gary who crashed into me, knocked me off a ditch. You a wild, but I don't know what your driver tars doing. You be wilding, bro. And some dude named Scorched Phoenix. Whoever content creator, y'all two, I got beat. Every time I see them dudes on the road, I stay clear. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it is going to be when the demo ends, the preview ends, it's like, okay, you qualified, now you drive to the festival, but we didn't get to compete in it. And to me, the key for them is, Japan is an amazing character. It's beautiful. What have you done to make this less redundant from afar? That's going to be the key, because it's going to feel samey to Forza Horizon guys who've been, you know, used to it the last 2 years. That's what I got to say. And they didn't let's really get into the creator player option. It was very limited for the sake of the demo. Like, you know, for the sake of the preview build, there's still a lot of things they're not willing to show us just yet. So that's going to be my key. We'll say music is a vibe. They had a lot of Japanese theme stuff. You have a Japanese constituent. I like that. There's a plethora of options. As far as accessibility is concerned, I have to give them, and I think it's an Xbox Game Studio thing. They're the best when it comes to, you can customize everything, lighting, UI, fonts, all type of stuff. I will say this, for a person who's played Forza, and I'm like, okay, they coming, they looks good, you know, gonna be the same thing. But I will say, there's an addictive nature to this game. That it's like one more thing, the mascots, and a lot of it is Japanese culture themed as far as finding things to add to your book and stuff like that. So we'll see what the long-term hook is going to be. Before an initial feel, yes, it felt great.
Nice. I
think they're on to something really cool. And I can't wait to get my hands on, you know, the final builds as they get close.
My only question would be, if you could have a surprise in all of this, what would it be? Like, was there anything you were hoping to see that wasn't there? Or, because you were talking about potential redundancy, right? Like, what could they do with what they've got here to make it feel fresh to you? Like, I was interested to hear, like, oh, you raced the bullet train already. I thought that'd be like a big moment later. So I'm like, okay, what else are they going to do? What do you have any ideas that come to mind for like what you're sort of hoping for them to do to keep things fresh?
I think Sov said it on our impressions where I said it best. What they have to do is, because now they're the steward of like the open world, cool, you know, casual game, right? So what I feel is what he said is great, and I agree with him, is that you've got to take pockets of like famous, like there's no Burnout anymore, right? There's no, you know, Tokyo Drift Street Racing. You've got to have modes that only other games do, and incorporate them and put that in the formula. You know what I'm saying? And I think they could easily do this. It's just a matter of, and I'm going to say something controversial that you're going to laugh because me and you are more Horizon bros than Motorsport bros. King made this point, which is kind of like, you got to do something to service them, like for like a hardcore section, right?
Where it is in a moment, bro.
Exactly.
That game's sexual about cars. They'll go there in a second, man. You gotta take care of them in your own home base. I agree.
100%. So I think that's going to be the key. And I personally, because the models are so good when it comes to when you pause, like you look at the replays, you do the rewind, you re-rotate the car, you see your avatar, the avatar that let us only have two in the demo. But in it, like, I think they've got to get to that section of like, really invest in creative player, like really invest in it, because I think you mentioned this in the past, like something with get out the car moment, something, you know what I'm saying? To like truly give it quest-like things. I'm going to say something really corny that maybe some people disagree with. I would love, remember when like the NBA 2K series would do like those stupid storylines and like you're the player. They were cheesy, they were corny, but you kind of got invested. Yeah, like you've got to do, I would like a real story mode. You know what I'm saying? In a way, you know what I'm saying?
Some factor, I think. I agree.
There's something like that because again, we are getting formulaic with, the Australian announcer and you go into the festival and it's like a carnival like thing. Now they did promise there are changes again because we didn't get a chance to play and they're going with this wristband thing and you're earning your right and stuff like that. But I want to know how hard they go with that. So those are probably be my little selfish request, but I think they're going to win just because of Japan being the cheat code. Right now, it is so gorgeous.
Layup, yeah.
It
ran well.
Ran well, looked well. Like you're gonna have goosebumps just seeing how Japan is a character in this game. So they're gonna get a pass for a lot of things. If let's say they stay samey to Forza Horizon 5, I'm just hoping they do more than just that. And that's going to be where we do the actual, festival stuff. So that's my early assessment. Looks fantastic. Strong impression. I just want to see the long game for the festival.
Okay, cool. Glad to hear it's shaping up as expected. What else have you been playing?
The other game is, man, this one is tough. I don't know if you knew, but we lost a legend recently. And
yes. Yeah, okay. I see.
Yeah, man. Shout out to my man. I want to give credit my man Donald Taku put out the article, the creator of Double Dragon and the Kunio-kun series had passed away. And man, this was a blow. This is one of those ones where those silent heroes, you don't realize who they are when you're growing up and you don't understand why you love certain games. And then I did his resume and I'm like, oh, wow, this guy is, how I revere Yu Suzuki? And I say, okay, this guy is, a legend because when I went to the arcade, I was gravitated towards Hang On and Outrun and Virtual Fighter. These are the games. Why? And I realized, and I'm like, yo, this guy is like the soundtrack to my childhood. So let me because I want to get pronunciations right and I want to respect our guy. Yeah. Yoshihisa Kishimoto. So Yoshihisa, he in our opinion, he is the grandfather of beat 'em ups. Double Dragon would be, to me, like, I wouldn't even say peak because he's done so much. Kunio-kun and all that stuff was even before that. But Double Dragon is when it got to the States and you go, this is premier beat 'em up. We've never seen this level of two-player, co-op beat 'em up with a moveset. Shout out to Jimmy Lee and Billy Lee, you know what I'm saying? And punch kicks, moveset throws. He took the formula to the next level. Prior to that, like I said, it was a Kunio-kun series. And I remember this game. I didn't know. See, this is when you're uneducated as a young person. When you see an American release of something, you think that's the first thing. And it was a game in the arcade called Renegade. And Maddie was like you go on a train, it was kind of hood, it was kind of grungy beat 'em up. You get off the train, people on the platform waiting to beat you up, they got bats, they got knives, and it was rough. It was a difficult game. You could knock people off the train track and the stuff like that. And I love this game. And again, apparently it was the West version of this game called Kunio-kun that was massive in Japan. All they did was just Americanize and they give it to us to call it Renegade, right? So also games like River City Ransom, right? That's him. Before even all of that, he was responsible. This is what I'm going to get deep with it. He's responsible for other games. He contributed to other games. There's this game called Road Blasters. It was a driver racing game. It was amazing. Atari fans know what I'm talking about. That was a very popular arcade game. He worked on that. Then when he got to the Kunio-kun, that's what it's him now creating. And then obviously Double Dragon is, peak. And he was with this company called Technos Japan. It was called Technos Japan. Technos Japan. I remember going to the arcade and always seeing that in the credits for all the games I love. This is when I knew he was the GOAT. You gave me Double Dragon, the greatest beat 'em up of all time. Now, this is WWF peak. I remember Superstars of Wrestling, arcade, WrestleFest, arcade. These are arguably the greatest wrestling games of all time. We want to talk about the Pantheon. They had the WWF Superstars, the moveset, the animation, the beat 'em up stuff. Bro, I'm telling you right now, those two games, if you Google WWF Superstars of Wrestling in the arcade and WWF WrestleFest, American Technos, this is our guy, Kishimoto. Bro, he is a legend. He defined the beat 'em up space. Everyone is inspired. I'm seeing Harada. Everyone's giving their flowers. We lost a legend. So yeah, his Twitter account put that out that I guess from the Sun, that his dad had passed away. They showed the statements from the eulogy and stuff like that, and the pouring out, and it just hit me because playing Double Dragon, and I remember the fun story is, one, the music was amazing. I can still hear the theme in my head. But I remember this is how I got solved to become a Sega kid, because NES at the time had Double Dragon, but it was only one player. The game was a 2-player arcade game, but the Master System port had 2 players. And Solve was like, yo, what should I get? I'm in, for all our old heads, Sears right now. That was like our Circuit City back in the day. And he's like, what should I get? He's like, I can get the NES right now. And I forgot what game. He said, but if I get the Master System, they're giving me a free packing game. I was like, what's the packing game, Solve? He's like, Double Dragon. I'm like, wait, Master System has Double Dragon? He said, yeah, Cock, it's 2. It says it's going to be 2 players. I was like, what? Get the Sega Master System. Immediately, Solve. I influenced this man to become a Sega fan. He gets Double Dragon. Bro, he comes over the crib. This is what I knew his mom and my mom, they knew we loved video games. Solve had a very strict curfew at that age, right? Because we went to elementary school together. They let us rock out for hours, and we just sit there controlling
the curfew breaker, dude. That's the thing where you're always like checking the time, like, yo, the parents haven't shown up yet. Like, we can keep going. Keep going. Magical times.
Beat the game. The game was amazing. Shout out to the enemy. Shout out to Adobo, the giant, and all this stuff. And then final boss had a gun. And then it was the ultimate ending where, obviously the villain beats up the girl, steals the girl. And then you get to the end. Iconic boss fight, iconic music. And he did something that we never seen in a video game before. You beat the boss, and the game's not over. And then it's like, you versus your man for the girl. So we had to fight each other for the girl. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. How they gonna do this to us? We were co-op buddies the whole game. Yeah. So
who won is the question.
You know what's funny? I don't remember. I want to say I won, but Solve, if you listening, because he listened to do all the time. If you won, I just don't remember. You know what I'm saying? But who knows? I can't. I'm going to say about my beat ups because maybe I pulled it off.
Okay.
I'm going to say I pulled that off. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, what a game. What a game. What a legend. I want to give him his flowers. Kishimoto, wow, you created so many things that, are just iconic in the games industry. And he didn't get enough credit, I feel, the way he deserved. So many creators are inspired by him. So Double Dragon got played on the Nintendo Switch. There's an
nice.
The arcade port lives there as far as like this Nintendo ages. I forgot who ported it, and I was just playing it, smiling, and getting a little emotional because that was one of the games of my childhood.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, because I was aware, but I was not informed on what games he was connected to. So that was beautiful to hear. Yeah, such a shame when we lose a legend like that, dude. Like, it feels like it's happening more and more these days because these guys have been around for so long.
Yeah. 100%.
Such a shame. But
so what you been playing, bro?
I'm still playing like Crimson Desert, Pocopia. Like I'm reviewing something currently under embargo that I cannot wait to talk about. But otherwise, the thing I wanted to talk about this week that I thought would be most interesting to listen to for our lovely audience is the Starfield DLC, Terran Armada, as well as the Free Lanes update. Your boys like put a good 10 hours into it now.
Okay.
Surprised how much game is here, Cog. I'm going to be honest with you to open things up. Like, there's a lot here. Like, y'all are probably like me. You saw the $10 price tag. You saw the quality of life. You're like, all right, like 3 hours. Like, no, dude, there's a lot here. There's a lot of game here. A lot of systems to kind of get involved in. A lot of new stuff to see. Questline took me a good 5-ish or so hours. It's longer than Shattered Space.
What? I thought we were getting Shattered Space level or less. Wow.
Yeah. It was longer in my experience. I started at what was it? 9. Here's the best selling point I can give to you on this. I started at like 9 last night and I played till 4 a.m.
Damn.
And when I played that whole stretch, I was DMing Locke. I was like, I just played Starfield for like 7 hours straight. And I haven't done that since launch. I was like, something's kind of here, dude. I'm not going to lie. It's not, I don't love everything that's here, but something is here. And and he's like, how was it? I was like, I'm not even done yet. And I finished it today. I played for another 3 hours. So I was like, okay, there's some game here. It's a mixed bag, ultimately. I like a lot of what's here, but the reason I say it's a mixed bag is because I can't full send be positive about everything. There are some catches. There are some negatives.
Okay.
Let me pull up my notes here.
Let's get the notes.
Okay. Do you want the good news or the bad news first?
Oh, that's a good one. Let me start with my bad news, because I do have a very minor contribution here. Because obviously we talked, before you said we didn't, something what we're gonna talk about. I'm like, all right. Okay. I'm like, I can't have Maddie out here playing this DLC before me because you
probably thought like, oh, he's gonna hate it. I'm gonna be the only. I can't be there to balance the conversation.
I hate not being part of conversations like this, and I'm just like, all right. Even though I'm like, bro, I spoke to you last night. I'm like, bro, I'm on like 2-3 hours of sleep, but I'm like, bro, I got to play because it just was the review cycle just caught me. Forza Horizon, and me and you also playing something else that we both can't. I think we play the same thing that we both can't talk about, and it's just like, okay, I was in Forza season mode, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, but I gotta play because I'm like, damn it, Starfield is this, what I'm saying? It's now, right? Yeah. And I was able to just, all I will say is this, I was able to, start up. Obviously, you haven't played it a long time. I'm like, oh my God, I haven't played Starfield. I got to remember how to play Starfield, right? That's the thing. So I'm doing my little quality of life stuff. I will say, engine-wise, the game looked good on Series X because I haven't played in a while. I'm like, damn, it moves. It's moving nice. The thing that I noticed immediately is I attempted from the update, the cruising mode, right? And seeing how that operates, stuff like that. It took a little way. It was a little clunky. I was like, just to kind of
not the most elegant implementation.
Yeah, because it's like for me, it's like hold down left bumper, get into the mode. Then you're like, okay, now I can cruise to my destination in a free space or set to autopilot, which took me a while. I'm like, okay, I can set something to autopilot and then I can get up, I can walk around my ship. And I like that kind of stuff. But I just felt the interface between once you get to the destination and then switching back is a little clunky to me.
You have to be like locked onto it and kind of drift into it. Yeah, it's a little weird.
It's a little weird. It takes a little getting used to. I love that it's there. Just the implementation is a little clunky. Now, the thing that I'm sad to report is I'm like, okay, I'm going to at least do the first 2 missions or something, just to have stuff to talk about. And you do your investigation on said, area and space because they want you to debut the what you call it mode. The problem I had is literally the first thing I did, and it's like going on this like derelict ship. And you're like, oh man, I got to see what's going on. This feels cool. This feels all right. And they're like, get some power cells and do up this switch. And I get the power cells, Maddie. I put in the switch and the game won't let me advance. I'm like, this is a glitch. I legit cannot get back. And then I had just prior took auto saving off because I think the game, I played so many hours. I'm like level 60 on my second of 3 new game plus Starborn. And the game already had told me when I first started, yo, you got a lot of saves, bro. start deleting. So as a result,
Oh, really?
yeah, they were like, you're getting full. So I'm like, okay, that's literally what I just started because I played it so long. I'm like, all right. So prior to this, I started deleting mass data. And I said, you know what? Let me take off the feature. I literally just did it. I took off the feature that the game auto saves every 15 minutes. So now my last manual save was like when I started. And I was doing a whole bunch of things to get myself reacquainted to learning Starfield. I get to the quest of the Terran Armada and started to do this thing. I have this glitch. So I was demoralized. I was like, now I got to go back. I'm like, I'm turning this off. I'm going to get at least 3 hours before I sleep because I'm frustrated.
Refuel. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, I got to refuel and I'll come back to you. So that's why I can't have a part of this discussion. And I will take care of it.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. So that was literally my, I'm like, no, I want to play. Yeah. So now tell me what happened.
We'll do the bad news then.
Let's get the bad out. Let's get the bad out.
So I just will build off what you did. There are bugs and they're like quest bugs. Like I had to wait for a follower to like progress. It ended up working, but I had to like shoot her, down her, and then she got back up and then she did what she had to do. It was just like a frustration shot. I was like, just fucking move. And then she actually like fell. She's like, ugh, and then got back up. She's like, okay, let's see here. Fucking, that's like the equivalent of restarting your router. I'm like, oh shit, I just unplugged it, plugged it back in. I got internet now. Great. So there are bugs like that. Some objectives just didn't update. There were times I was like running around ships and like I want to open my scanner to look at the floor and have like the arrows guide me where to go, and like just didn't tell you where to go. And this doesn't sound like a deal breaker, but you can get spun around in some of the Terran ships and it's like they're very vast and labyrinthian, and when you're trying to escape from them as they're about to blow up, there's no timer, by the way, but as you're trying to escape from them, when you get spun around, like it'll be like my objective's right there, like where do I go? And you have to like go to another end of the ship and then find this one door that leads you there. It's weird. It happened too many times for me not to call out. Okay. But there are bugs. Okay. And I'm not just saying bug the bugs, like just specifically with this quest line, there are bugs. Enemy AI is another thing I noticed, like just not responsive at times. Like I'd be in a shootout in one room and it was sick. Like it goes zero gravity. We're all like flying around shooting. Like, yeah, like this DLC and the updates, I think, embrace a lot of the strengths of Starfield, which is why I walked away being like, it's actually pretty decent. But the enemy AI, like you'll clear out a room. It's like a firefight. You're trying to get out. Alarms are going off. You'll enter a room and they'll be like just kind of walking around doing their thing, and then be like, "Oh hey!" and they'll take out their guns. And I'm like, shouldn't you kind of been like ready for me, like shooting as I'm entering the room or trying to chase me down, like that sort of stuff. What else do I got here? Frame rate was kind of weird with this.
Interesting.
Like, I play on Series X.
Oh, you play on Series
X? Okay. Yeah, and I play it there with the performance mode. And it was the performance mode was never perfect, but it was steady. Okay. Because Starfield quality mode was pretty steady in my experience, at least. But this performance mode was not holding, bro. Just up and down, up and down, up and down. Enough times again to warrant the call out. Sticking with the bad news, the story the lore is interesting. I won't spoil it too much, but the idea is basically that there were some sides during a war that were going to meet up to fight. They ended up talking. The lore says they disappeared. It turns out they went and formed the Terran Armada, and they claim to be the true children of Earth.
Yes.
The way they kind of enter the storyline is a little bit classic Bethesda, like you hear them over the radio and it adds a quest to your log, and I thought that was cool. But there isn't like a really strong introduction of them. You don't interface with them. They are kind of Crimson, not even Crimson Fleet, because Crimson Fleet you get to interface with. These are like, they're your enemies. They're going to be your enemies. Like you're never going to work with them. There's no face-to-face. There's no allying with them. It's very disappointing on that front, because it's like, the storytelling of Starfield kind of shows both sides at times, but usually the way it does it is very formulaic, where they'll kind of say like, all right, you're working with this one side for a while, then suddenly the other side shows up and the other side tries to challenge your views last minute and tries to force you in an impulsive decision. What are you going to do? And like, that's all they usually do for their stories. But this one didn't even include the other side. It's just like, go kill the Terran Armada. And I think that lack of face-to-face really underserved the story. Where they had something here, and it was longer than expected for good and bad reasons. Like there is a quest here, but also it's longer because they lean into the Terran incursions quite a bit.
Yes, and so that mode in the options, incursion frequency and stuff.
Yeah, you can tune that to how you like. I like where it's at. I enjoyed the incursions quite a bit, so I did not mind that they were here. But there are 2 points in the story where they really are like, go out, do some incursions. We need this thing. And so you do them. And for some people, it's going to be like, oh, they're padding it. For me, though, I thought they were fun. What you do is you go to one of the many star systems where an incursion is happening. If you jump in there to that planet they're near, they'll jump systems, which I thought was kind of cool. They'll react to you moving. They'll be like, oh, he's pulling up. Like, we're out.
Oh, we out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the only way you can approach an incursion is jumping to the system and then cruise moding to them. What this does is you'll start to notice the content built around this update can show some of the potential in Starfield's ideas with these mechanics in mind, because I was loading a lot less. I was just playing there's a reason I played for 7 hours straight. Wow. Because I was just, loading in and playing the game more. I was engaging with the game more. So you have to cruise mode to them. When you do, it is a Radiant event, but it's a fun one. You'll sometimes get into like a star fight and just like there's ships everywhere. And it's just like
combat like that.
Yes, dude. And that's, you and I are on the same page.
Ship combat is god tier. This stuff.
Yeah. So I loved it. And this is where I'll kind of transition to some of the good stuff, but like you'll get into a star fight with some ships, or sometimes like the cruiser for the Terran Armada landed on a planet and you'll find this like massive star station, just like you have to go in from the ground up, which is cool. Usually it involves like simple objectives like get 3 authorization codes, flip the reactor, escape. You're always destroying whatever you're inside. So it's just a shooting gallery, flip some switches, run out. And that's where, again, I think some people are like, this is simplistic, but I gotta be honest, all right? I engaged with every system Starfield offered because of this content, and it was for the better.
Interesting. That's big.
I engaged with the X-Tech. I engaged with upgrading my weapons. I went ham on ship customization.
Wait. You did the weapon. That's my lane. You did the weapon upgrades?
Yeah.
What was it about that? It was like what hooked you? Was it the way they onboarded it, or like how?
I think it was a couple. I mean, obviously it was fresh and new. So it's not like I'm going to be there I beat it. Like I'm done, you know, but think of it collectively to the experience. I'm like, okay, cool. I think part of it is like, one, it's just more fun to do. Like it just has the best parts of Starfield. I love the spaceship combat. You give me something that lets me do that. I didn't realize how much that was going to click for me. But when I started to get smoked in space, I was like, I need to take some time to like really research and do some upgrades. And I got like really into that and like really started to do my research more and learn more about like what are the best weapons. When I came back and I started to decimate, I was like, oh, this feels great, dude. Putting your time into that, expanding my ship more, like really making myself like a beast in the stars. But I can't really put my finger on what clicked with the loot loop. I think X-Tech just kind of worked for me. Is like, it's more common of a drop than I expected. I really thought it was going to be this, you had to hunt hard for it. Like it's at the end of like the caves they put on the planets and stuff. But no, like the Terran Armada will just drop it. You'll find it in the loot chests. And what's great is it's so easy to apply. Just whip open a crafting bench, use it to kind of re-roll, or use it to apply some. You'll find like straight up weapon upgrades, like aim speed, accuracy upgrades, and you'll just apply them to your weapons. Nice. Or you'll use the X-Tech. Just you'll set up a ship optimization terminal, and you'll just spend the X-Tech like 15% faster recharge on energy weapons, bro. I got some fucking energy weapons on my ship that obliterate now. And I think what worked for me is you can feel the upgrades.
Nice.
You can just feel them. With that, let's balance the scales. No unique weapon to finish this quest line. No unique armor.
Are we back on that again?
So yeah, like I can say the loot loop worked, but like I thought they'd have at least one. Like, hey, thanks for finishing the Terran Armada quest line. Here's like even a legendary weapon. I'm like, even then that would be twist the knife for someone like me, but
you want the
they're like, here's money.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, at least it's not another fucking player home. I've got enough of those, but like it's not like I am sitting here accepting what it is. They still run away from the things I love about Bethesda games, like the unique loot. And that was frustrating, but I did have fun getting X-Tech and upgrading my stuff and feeling that progress and beating what was in front of me. I did have fun opening the gameplay options menu, seeing that they have a whole new tier of options now because of the update for like legendary enemies. tweaking things to make it more difficult for myself. So like the firefights are just a little bit more tense. Nothing too crazy. Just getting a little XP bonus because I'm playing the game a little bit tougher, and also making it easier on myself in some ways. I hate inventory management at times. Like this game, I haven't gotten the perks to upgrade my inventory enough because I went in like a whole different direction.
Okay.
So for me personally, like I had like 200 and something like mass, and I was like, I am so short on space. There's an option in the gameplay options to just increase my carry weight. It gives you -6. So I just made the game more difficult for myself. And I'm like, cool. Like that worked for me. And so I'm back to like 2% bonus now. I'm like, cool.
Yeah. I did that immediately when they introduced that update. And then also, please tell me you are using the update. They did this a while ago that allows you at any point to access your ship cargo to transfer anything over.
Oh, yeah.
Must.
Huge. Yeah. So those gameplay options are great. And like, while I'm not a fan of Starfield inheriting 76 design, the difference is it is a single player game with some sort of, I can put it down and not feel like I got to come back to this a bunch of times. So that works as well for me. But yeah, I just kind of like, I don't know. It just, again, leaned into the fact that I wasn't fast traveling as much. I was starfighting a lot. I was upgrading my shit a lot. I was shooting a lot. So I was just playing the game. And that's the thing that, again, made it where I was like, okay, like if you build more Starfield content with these systems in mind, you might have something more here. To the point where I was kind of talking about in my review, what 76 Wastelanders did was they were like, okay, we have to rethink this whole map because now we're adding NPCs to it. So some places have to behave a little bit differently. I'd like for them to assess some of the quest objectives in Starfield and see how much they could factor cruise mode into that. It is not the one size fits all fix, but it does smooth out a little bit of that rough edge.
Gotcha.
Again, not the greatest fix, but it does smooth it out enough where when I go to a star system, it's not load into star system, load into near the planet, load into planet. It's star system, fly to something. Maybe see something along the way, do your thing. Then do you want to fly to that planet? When it's space directed content where you're in that star system, they need to build it around this cruise mode through and through.
Gotcha.
And I hope they look into things because of now cruise mode being a thing. I hope they look into like what Star Wars Outlaws did, where it's obviously a loading screen when you fly from the ground to the planet, or from the ground, to the stars, or reverse that. But it does it in a way that's more elegant. And Starfield does it where you travel within a star system from planet to planet. And I'd love for them to let you go to the planet the same way Star Wars Outlaws does.
Okay.
But it does reduce a little bit of friction where it just lets you play the game more without feeling like, okay, let me pick up my phone. Another loading screen. Yeah, like, again, not perfect. I'm not trying to oversell it to anyone, but as someone who's been very critical of Starfield's design choices, I can't lie to myself and say I wasn't just enjoying myself. I just thought about I'm playing Crimson Desert. I'm reviewing something. I've got a full plate. I'm enjoying Pocopia. So there was all the reason for me to quickly pick this up, put it down. But the fact that I stuck with it, I was like, that's something. I was enjoying myself there.
Okay. Kind of two questions.
Go ahead.
Companions, I want to know about that interaction. And then also, I know you talked about, without spoiling, it's going to be hard because I want you to spoil because I'm excited to jump in. But like the Terran Armada threat, like, all I did was get to the, initial part where they, you cycle and you get the quest. First of all, come on, but then you got to do a better job of like, let me know how to jump off these quest lines. Like, I was like, I didn't know I had to go to a killer city. I didn't know I thought it was going to be a radio broadcast that just happened. So I'm waiting, I'm mussing around the lodge. I'm on the main joint. And I was like, okay, I got to go to a killer city.
I kind of like what they did though, because it's a little more organically like woven into the game, where if you think about it from like, I'm playing for the first time, you'll find that pretty easily. But if you're like us coming back, there's no courier to be like, message for you, your eyes only.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I didn't know where. So I was just playing Starfield regularly for a while, to the point where I hadn't played so long that they were talking to me about the unforgettable. My companions were like, yeah, so that stuff you did in Shattered Space and House for Room was wild, crazy. I'm like, oh yeah, I did that. So I'm like, okay, so I was doing all this catching up with my crew and I had to find it out. But to your point, so I guess the question is, without spoiling as much as you can for people that haven't played it, as far as the Terran Armada threat itself and the storyline stuff between? Because you were definitely addicted to the gameplay loop, but I want to know about, was you addicted to what's going on with the Terrans and my Armada joint? And
I wanted to be. The truth is, I really wanted to be. I think that there's some lore that like I could feel my brain kind of come to life where I was like, oh, I like that. Like that's interesting, but they just don't explore it enough. So the Terran Armadas are they're just your enemy. Okay. That's what they are.
Okay.
And you know, I don't want to spoil too much, but yeah, there's not much face-to-face interaction. I was a little bit let down by the lack of variety as well. Like you have this robot army and there's only like, they have different types, but visibly speaking and what they do on the battlefield, it's not enough. So I feel it's a little bit of a missed opportunity there. And I think a lot of my opinion on this DLC, like right now I'm in a more positive place. I would say like we're 7 out of 10 energy right now. Like I've got enough good here to outweigh the bad, but there's still some pretty like bad stuff here. That could go down to like a 5 or a 6 though, depending on how often we start to see these types of updates, because this is very little in the scheme of things for how long we did wait, to be fair. You know, I know Bethesda's trying their best balancing everything, but like when you talk about 2024 was the last we saw of this game and like this is what you've got, I'm hoping to see you again this year. That's where
you say you want to see the frequency now, more stuff.
Because then how significant is this? Because this feels like, again, with things like cruise mode, X-Tech, these are not going to fix Starfield. But they are building blocks of ideas that start to fill in the cracks of the game. If we can if they're going for more smaller size, regular updates that fill in those cracks even more, I think things like Terran Armada can be good for the game. But if it's like, this was year 2, year 3,
got you. Okay.
Then we got a problem.
Okay.
That's not enough.
Got you.
You know, so that's why I said like, right now I'm good on it. But if like you ask me 8 months from now and that's all we got from Starfield this year.
Right. I got you.
I'd kind of be like, yeah, like that's not like, I forgot that came out. That's a bit of a blip.
So we're trending in the right direction. Obviously, expectation was set that this was not 2.0, but at the end of the day, like you had fun playing with it. Now, okay, let's keep on. Let's keep. Okay, I got you. Okay.
And I say that not to be greedy, but I say that because there's enough here where, I mean, again, I spent 10 hours. There's enough here. The systems are, but most of what's here are systems. In the terms of like a quest line, it's like a, 5-6 hour quest line, all things considered, if you're doing everything right. You're really like what's mostly here though are new systems, X-Tech, legendary weapons, new POIs, action figures. I'm just looking at my list here. The incursion events, like there's systems and cruise mode. I think I didn't throw in there yet, but like they're all here and they're things. But now, okay, like now you need to keep making content with all of this in mind.
Gotcha.
Like, and if you're going to, I think cruise mode is something they should retroactively look at the game with that in mind and see if they can incorporate it more.
Like a retrofit.
Because, it's not the fix that people are looking for, but it does smooth some rough edges. And I think if they built more of the game with that in mind, it's not going to make you love Starfield. But for those who do like Starfield, I think it'll make you appreciate it more like I did. So that's kind of I have more to say, but the concluding point that I kind of left it on is if you like Starfield, I mean, Todd and to their credit, Todd and Tim Lamb, like
they set expectations.
They were kind of on the money. They're like, this is not 2.0. It's not. I never expected that based on what you and I previewed. Like, it's not that. But when they said if you like Starfield, I think you'll really like this, but it's not going to change if you didn't like things about Starfield. There are parts I liked about Starfield, and this is kind of proof of it. I'm like, okay, I'm not crazy. I know it's easy for me to forget. Back in 2023, I liked Starfield at launch. The post-launch has been a whole different story for this game. Getting back to some of those fundamentals, I'm like, yeah, okay, like it's not what I want it to be, but this is better, and this is more of Starfield, and it's better Starfield.
Gotcha.
But for a lot of people, Starfield to the negative sucks.
Yeah,
and better like Starfield is still shit. And so if you don't like Starfield and you're listening to this is not going to change that for you. But if you're like Cog and I, you played it at launch, you're like, this is good to great, or whatever you kind of rated it. You're like, I enjoyed that. Certainly dipping back in for another 10 hours for what they've got here, I don't think is a bad way to spend your time. Maybe wait a little bit now that I'm mentioning bugs and whatnot. But there is stuff here that I had fun with. Some disappointments I want to just also tap off. New points of interest, they're here, they exist. There are a decent amount of them, but they are radiantly called. So you're not getting your like, oh man, like here it is, like like a brand new dedicated location. It's like, the list of like cave rocks.
Oh, right.
Yeah, add ship to that list. That's like,
okay.
That's like ship is the cave in the space. Like, does that make sense?
Yes, I understand what you mean.
You see a million times. So the POIs are there. It'll vary it up a little bit, but at the end of the day, you're still seeing radiantly called POIs on the planet. It doesn't change that fact. Okay. Action figures. I was kind of sad to say that when I found one, it was in a chest, like a loot chest, and I'm like, really? Like, I thought these would be kind of like the Vault Tech.
Like the Vault Boy. Yeah. Okay.
But I don't know if there's some that you find through loot and there's others that you find during the storyline. But this was one I was like, you didn't need to add this to the loot loop. This was a bad call. Mm-hmm. These should have been put along the main storyline, put them in places to draw the player there. I think it was a mistake to just put them as part of the loot pool in some way, shape, or form. Because at first I was like, I went through most of this not finding one. It's like, cool. So they must have put them somewhere. And then one of my final incursions that I did, I opened that final chest cog. UC Marine action figure. I'm like, oh, fuck. I was like,
you're ready to buy.
So I'm like, you're telling me I spent all this time and there's like 30 of these things. Or 27, I think is actually the number. I spent all this time. You're telling me if I wanted to get all of these, that you just got to grind. Bad call, I think.
Oh, so it's in the incursion.
I don't know if it's in the incursions, but it's
just where you counted that.
Pool.
Okay, it's in the loot pool. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I thought it was going to be like, again, the Vault Tech where it's like you find one in New Atlantis, you find one in Neon.
I got you.
Like,
that's always cool. Yeah, I got you.
Like I thought that's what it was going to be. So I was a little bit disappointed by that.
Okay.
But overall, like, look, man, I had a good time just shooting and looting. Okay. And that's not really what I got into Starfield for, but I got to say some of the loot loops that they added here, like if it's not just like, keep in mind, I'm considering it additive.
Yes.
I don't want this to be the loot loop,
right?
But it is a part of a loot loop where they start to like Outer Worlds 2. I'm looking at you like y'all fucking radicalized me because of how good you did with that damn game.
That loophole's
so nice.
So good.
So with that shit in mind, like if it's not the loop, but part of a loop,
okay,
fine. Like if I can take X-Tech and take that unique weapon that I found, that unique design, unique properties, I'm like, damn, that's sick. And then put X-Tech on it and make it better. That's what I want.
Let's go. Okay.
But if this is the only way to do it, that will be a problem over time because I don't care solely about X-Tech, but as a component to the overall process, cool. So yeah, like good time. Good time. It's a little 7 out of 10 energy to match up with what Crimson Desert's giving me, which is some hard 7 out of 10 energy as well. So,
listen, man, it's about the loop, right? And I can't wait to dive in. Like I said,
I think you'll like it a lot. Yeah, I think you'll be like me. You'll have some fun with it. There are going to be those kinks where you can't. The problem is I can't full sail be like, yeah, they did like this is good. I have to pull back because there's enough bugs, enough like broken AI.
Yeah, I got
enough like bumps in the road.
My experience was so I definitely can't push back. I literally had one to start. And I was like, damn.
Just enough where I'm like, I had a good time, but like it's probably for a lot of people listening and it'd be like, oh, you didn't like it much. But I'm like, I really did. I really did. I can't full send recommend just because I had enough issues. And also it is just more better Starfield, which I know a lot of people don't like. So I got to be like cognizant of that. But if you did like Starfield, you got the time and you got $10. There's worse ways you can spend your money.
And it's safe to say that we're better than Shattered Space.
Oh my God. It's not even close.
I can hum again. Can I hum again?
Yeah, hum. Yeah,
we've survived Shattered Space now.
Yeah, dude. Like,
you seem so recovered from that. You seem to more like you just went through something. You're like, oh my God, I forgot about that. Like, I put you in a trauma place just now. You came out of it.
Like a trauma response really just happened there because I'm just like. Yeah, like this puts into perspective. Like, look, again, it's more Starfield, but it showed that maybe the path is just to support what Starfield is. Not, I mean, support as fans. I mean, support like as Bethesda making the game and make that better rather than trying to make one location.
Yes.
Not saying that excuses Shattered Space being asked, but again, that's why I said if they can do more frequent updates like they're doing with Terran Armada and Free Lanes and keep doing that, I think it could be better for the game long term than more Shattered Space like content. I'm open-minded to that is what I'm saying. But to answer your question, just on an enjoyment factor, dude, it wasn't even fucking close. I was so upset by the time Shattered Space was over. Like it was that, you know, like we got to find a term for it with the Maddie videos where I don't even salutations you. And I'm just like disappointed dad coming. I'm like, man, what the fuck, dude? Like, yeah, like that was a different energy. This was coming in like, hey guys, like, all right. Okay, we got something here, a little something. You know, I know for the Bethesda haters out there, they're gonna be like, more slop. Maybe a little bit, sure, but like, yeah, definitely better than Shattered Space in my opinion. Especially, look, dude, the value proposition was good. Yeah. Like, I spent 10 hours here and I spent $10. $1 for my hour is pretty good rate for me. I'll take that.
No, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. I can't wait to dive in next week, Dukes. I'll be jumping in there. Just excuse me, it was just a crazy week. I shouldn't even try to push, but you know, I have my little experience. But yeah, now that I know what I got to do, and I will be putting auto save back on every 15 minutes.
You should definitely do that. There are some tough ship fights. There are some legendary enemies that get a little spongy. And I think it would be best to have autosave on because there was like when my ship was under leveled and I had not been putting enough. I put enough care in it to get by, but not enough to like, oh, you're throwing serious space content at me. You want to have autosave on because if you jump into one of those incursions and you're just getting fried, like opening up, I was like, oh my God, dude. I was like, no, it's not the game's fault, by the way. I'm saying, oh my God to myself. I'm like, because I wanted to jump back to New Atlantis. I got to own myself. So I wanted to jump back to New Atlantis. I was like, I know my ship's cooked. Like I got to put some work into this thing. So I'm like, okay, let me jump back. And the game's like, no, you're in an incursion event right now. Like you ain't going anywhere. I'm like, they're like, you sorry, you cannot jump. You cannot jump systems right now. I'm like, oh no. I had to open that gameplay option cog and I had to go to the ship damage and be very easy. Yeah. And be like, yeah, just go nice on me here. Like I need that. I put them on very easy and I put myself on very easy. So I was doing way more damage. They were doing jack shit to me. I was just like, yeah, how's that? Thank you, Todd, for the modular difficulty system. Yes. This is great.
I love that.
I'm a big supporter of this system. I usually like the intended experience, but I gotta say I have a lot of fun with Starfield's modular difficulty, and I wouldn't hate this being in Elder Scrolls 6. It's one of the good things Starfield did post-launch.
I agree. And also, you know what I do? I do that stuff, certain little things to make stuff easier, but I actually also push the other direction, things that I really...
Make it tougher.
Yeah, I actually make it a survival game, and I do where I have to have sustenance. I put the sustenance up where I have to, because I'm the guy that I loot everything. I'm in every object. I'm checking things out. So I'm the guy that's grabbing chunks and apple and orange and coffee drink and Terra Brew. I'm that guy, right? I've got Terra Brews in the joint. Yeah. So now this is a quick way for me to help. It also helps out my mass situation because, you know, with the amount of carried weight and stuff like that. Sometimes I'm a hoarder. I just am. You put me in a Todd Bethesda game, I am going to interact with 50,000 apples. I'm the guy, you know what I'm saying? So, and also with crafting, you know, the materials and the exotic organic compound and all that stuff. So when you give me sustenance, I'm like, oh, every couple of hours, you know, and then they give you little bonuses, and it gives me more XP towards the overall game because I'm playing in a survival like thing where every 15, 30 minutes, you got to eat something, you got to drink something. So I kind of like the modular. I agree. I think they need to do more of that because you really can lean into player experience. The last question before I know we move on, I did have to ask one thing that I wanted to know if you experienced, because in the preview event that I went to, they talked about the enemies having new behaviors as far as like tougher, and if you kill one, this will enrage. Did you experience any of that stuff with like the enemy fights? Okay.
Yeah. There's legendary modifiers for at least, I don't know if it's in space. I haven't seen that yet. Right. That would be an interesting thing for them to do, but they're legendary modifiers for like the ground level enemies. Yeah. And it's not like Fallout 4 where you empty their health bar and then it replenishes. Thank God. I fucking hate that about that game. This is more like you'll see like 3 icons next to their name usually, and there are a bunch of effects that like they can trigger, like, you know, if they die, it'll like enrage everyone near them. That's how I got cooked in a couple of firefights, which is why I warned you. Like I dropped one of the legendaries and then everyone around them just like bah, 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 and just did a ton of damage. It did bring up a quality of life suggestion I sent to Bethesda. I was like, you guys got to let me know when my health is low. Like darken put some red around. They don't communicate it that well. So unless you're like staring at your health bar, That's something I think for how difficult you can make the game, they should get on top of.
Gotcha.
But yeah, the legendary enemies, they're good, like you pay attention to them sort of thing when you see them.
Mhm.
I think the next step is more variety because again, with the Terran Armada, I was a little disappointed that there wasn't like a shield model that was like protecting everyone, or like a gunner. There is a gunner model, but like, is there like a bulkier one? Or like, I'm thinking like the battle droids from Star Wars, like where's your super battle droid? Where's your droideka? Like that sort of stuff. They kind of just have like the humans and the robots and they commingle.
Got it.
And I think they could have pushed it a little bit further. I get it's $10 DLC, but I think the legendaries accomplish what Fallout 4 does. It's like, okay, they're going to drop probably the better loot. So I'm going to go check their body when I kill them. Otherwise though, it's just like an enemy to pay attention to compared to the standard shit that you're shooting.
Okay.
But otherwise nothing crazy. It's there. If you played Fallout 4, you played 76, you know what this is.
Got it. Okay. That was my question.
Overall, Terran Armada and Free Lane's pretty solid.
Nice. Sounds good.
Cog, it's time for the news. Number one, had to give it up to Undead Labs. There is a pulse for State of Decay 3. We kind of knew because we got that trailer that one time, but it's been a long road to State of Decay 3, right? We got that 2020 trailer. We will talk about that. And we got the re-reveal. We're like, okay, that wasn't exactly gameplay, but okay, it's something. And now we have this update that the game is going into alpha. After all this time, certainly I think it's fair for the Xbox audience to have expected that this is, this should be further along. Again, we'll get into that. I reached out to Xbox about this because I was like, hey, is this like a opportunity for like hands-on or anything like that? Like what's going on here? This is specifically being run by Undead Labs, and they are just they are collecting feedback to make the game better. So this is going to be one of those things where they're really taking it in right now. I think before they start bringing this thing more to the public, because keep in mind, this was all information revealed with just new screenshots. There was no new trailer. There was no new gameplay, nothing. So there is an alpha that you can sign up for. There will be multiple throughout the year. Alongside that was an interview done by Sunny Games. He did a really great job here providing us with some insight on what I guess some State of Decay fans have been playing for the last year. There was a lot of information in here that we could go over, but I would be remiss if I did not tackle the number one subject coming out of this, which is, again, like what happened with that 2020 trailer? Well, there is an official comment, and I give credit to Philip Holt, who's the head of Undead Labs, for just telling us as it is. He said, quote, that trailer in 2020, there really wasn't a game or a game team when we were working on that trailer. It was so early. I mean, there was like 4 or 5 people on the team. It was a Word document. The trailer was done by Blur. It was all pre-rendered. It was a represented concept. Our thoughts at the time of what might be cool to explore in State of Decay 3. And as we've had a chance to build the team and get going on the game, some of those elements I think are going to persist in the game that we deliver. And some of those were just like, yeah, we're not doing zombie animals, end quote. So he's very clear on what will and won't be there. Mr. Scott, if you're nasty, has the write-in. Shout out to Mr. Scott, always with the good write-ins. He says, Mr. Delicious Double D's. First, let's give a shout out to the Dukes. Dropping the hashtag, this is a DD, just days before Sydney Sweeney drops new lingerie photos to promote her new brand. Are the Dukes part of a cross-industry collaboration partnership? Hilarious. Second, that State of Decay information is a breath of fresh air, but I'm curious as to what you think about the game not even existing when it was announced 6 years ago. For me, this is why Xbox leadership needed to go. There were too many strategic blunders like this, Halo Infinite's content drought, no Fallout the lineup of the show, Everwild, Perfect Dark meandering for too long, the Uncle Phil leash was too long, have a cross-industry collab kind of day. Mr. Scott, always with the spicy write-ins. We appreciate you, sir.
Salute.
So before we get into anything about the game, Cog, I got to hear from you on your thoughts on this trailer representing a game that just did not exist at the time. It was a document on Microsoft Word. Your thoughts, sir?
That's wild. That's wild. If I recall, I feel like, and maybe I got my timelines off, I feel like there was one showcase where they pulled this, everything you'll see here will be next year, kind of thing. And I don't know if it was a part of that. I may have my years off.
It was
okay.
Not.
And that's fine. But what it's reminiscent of is the one thing that I was very frustrated during the Phil tenure, and I really gave a lot of feedback on this. Never promise something and like you don't execute on the deliverable because it's going you set the expectation, right? So yeah, this is a clear, there's no excuses here. This is a clear case of showing something way too, it was a Word document. Like it doesn't get any more blatant than that. Like this thing didn't exist. So I remember the chick, sister girl running around in the cold with the beanie. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was like, oh, Unreal Engine 5, okay, you know what I'm saying? And then you saw the deer, you like, oh, zombie, and are we going to be hunting? Okay. You like State of Decay 3, you see the logo. All that is vertical slice conceptual nonsense. So now that we got the truth out, yeah, that's a stay. There's no sugarcoating here. That's the difference between me. I can like someone, and y'all know I like Phil, and I know I like leadership and Sarah and Matt and all of that. But this was clear as day, something not ready. And now it's one of those situations where, remember I always said like Undead Labs was the one I was kind of afraid of the most. Like, what were they doing? What's going on with that studio? Prior to 343, like that was my number 2. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is up with them, right? And to hear this stuff, and then remember all the turnover. I covered State of Decay 2 in its infancy early. Yeah. Jeff Strand was the director, you know what I'm saying, was the studio lead. Richard Fogey, you know what I'm saying, was the director. I remember everyone. I remember the artists on that team. None of them are there, minus a few. And it was good to see Brant Fitzgerald, who I actually met during the State of Decay. He's the one that did the over the speaker. Hey, survivors out there, we're doing an alpha, whatever. I was like, oh, Brant's still there. I was like, okay, I know him. Like, I literally don't know anyone else on this team, right? So to hear Philip Holt, which I will talk about him a lot, in this segment, talk about, hey, we that none of that was in existence. We were still making the game. Just showed the game was revealed way too early, and that's a consistent theme what we had with Perfect Dark, right? You know what I'm saying? I believe it was like you said, Mr. Scott said, if you're nasty, certain things. So yeah, no excuses there. I guess my mindset is, why did they feel the need? Did they panic because there was so much negative sentiment around Undead Labs? Because if you even noticed, Maddie, did you notice the logo rebrand? Yeah. I thought that was, maybe I'm looking into it, I thought that was a little symbolic. Like, I guess because if you feel the need to rebrand, you're trying to disassociate yourself from the old brand. You know what I'm saying? Like in terms of, maybe some type of negative connotation. We did see another studio that had a checkered history, went from 343 to, you know what I mean? Like to me, if I'm a marketing guy in the room, we've got to disassociate the negative juju around you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
now like we're not indie anymore. We're popping. Like, let's get a little more professional in here. Could it be that as well? You could be absolutely right. More resources and new studio head. Philip said in that interview with Sunny Games, shout out to Sunny, he did a fantastic job. Yeah. He said, I am the steward, of the State of Decay franchise. Like I thought that was a big statement. Like, and I'm looking at where it's going, things we did and the history. And he almost had Asha energy in a sense. He was honest in the sense like, hey, I didn't play the game. I had to go play the game. I had to go, learn and stuff, what it means and stuff like that and take feedback. So I say all that to say, inexcusable that game was shown as a Word document. We are not making no excuses over here. And also, to me, it's an indictment that they panicked, that studio had nothing to show, and they wanted to get in front of it by giving us, a little fake out. Yo, something's happening. It's going. You just should have just been quiet because now it looks really bad. I have to admit that looks really bad. So yeah, that's my top level thoughts. I got a ton of stuff as far as the game stuff, but I want to let's tackle this part first, which is the Mr. Scott, if you're nasty, and the whole original trailer show. I imagine what happened here, because Undead Labs was acquired in 2018 by Xbox, right? So come 2020, they announced this game. Could be one of two things. One could be like, this was still a time where here's your cinematic trailer, title card announcement. We'll show you gameplay whenever we're ready. I know we were kind of getting out of that. I always mark Fallout 4 as that sort of starting point where it was like all of our brains open to the idea of like, hey, it would be cool if like we saw a game in the same year and then got it. Like that would be really awesome. So not that it was an impossible thing beforehand, but it felt rare. Ubisoft will show a game 2 years later, we get it, that sort of thing. So it could have been just like an early reveal and that's it. But also keep in mind, Xbox's portfolio was really thin. They were marketing for next gen. here's a game that you'll be able to buy on that Xbox. And I think it was just a nasty storm of things. I think Undead Labs wanted to mark what they're doing next for their fans. I think Xbox leadership needed games, and they made a lot of mistakes pulling triggers on early announcements all over. Fable, State of Decay, Contraband, Perfect Dark.
Forgot about Contraband.
There's a ton of them. So this is just another casualty. And since there is a consistency, I blame more about leadership than Undead Labs in this case. And I'm with you that it is inexcusable to reveal a game that is a document. That said, new leadership across the board. Here we are now. I'm not going to really cry over spilled milk at this point, but because the changes have been made. So it's annoying. It's ridiculous. I just hope it never happens again. That's the only thing. I mean, it's one thing to be like, we've storyboarded and we have concept art, like we have a vision, but it's like, dude, a Word document can change in like 2 seconds. Like there's nothing. Wild. The problem with words on paper, speaking from experience here, is that you could change it so easily. There's nothing bolting you down. So any idea is good on the table. It's just there for discussion at the very least. And that can be a problem. So again, like it just to announce that so confidently with a Word document is fucking crazy to me.
Yeah. It just screams panic to me. I mean, like you said, you made a good point in terms of, just not having anything at that time. You want to show the audience that this is what the next thing. And look, we come from the era of the vertical slice trailer and a lot of it to attract. But the difference here is that, this studio was in flux for so long with no activity. And then so it was just, I agree.
I got one more thing for you that I think will clear this up a little bit.
Yeah.
I covered this on my Mr. Matty channel, and I was doing some research on State of Decay, and I stumbled upon something I remember us discussing and defining Duke and kind of being like, really? What? Like, I thought they were done with that already. They put out a post, and this was November 2024, and it was called Winding Down Support. And it was talking about how they were done supporting new, like, massive features for State of Decay 2. And at that point, we're like, I remember us kind of having that cautious, hesitating, like, okay, cool, question mark, because, like, shouldn't you have already been done a while ago? Like, we know State of Decay 1 and 2 got massively supported, but we were both like, what's going on here? Now I think that makes a lot of sense, because this was also the same year that just 5 months prior, June 2024, we saw that new trailer that had, like, pseudo gameplay, if you want to call it.
Right.
So it all came together here where I'm like, I feel that's where maybe 2023-ish, you could draw the line of when it actually started and they actually committed to something. And that's why I think is probably like another year and a half away, I would wager.
Now, do have some updates. Because I want to shout out Sunny Games, who did a phenomenal job. Because I don't know if in this segment, are we talking about the game or at all?
We'll talk about everything. Yeah, I got a whole ton of notes from his interview and things.
Oh, you got that later. Oh, okay. So I'll say the boss.
You could talk about it now. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Like, we can just grab anything. There was so much information that was out there. There was no visuals, so you can just talk about whatever you want. Go ahead.
Yeah, shout out to Sunny Games, man. I'm not familiar with his content. He's kind of the same weight class as us as far as like subscriber stuff, and I thought he did a fantastic job. Clearly, he's a hardcore State of Decay guy. He's an advocate for the franchise. I love getting the feedback from those type of players who've been sticking with the game for so long and, kind of thing. So it looks like what Undead Labs did do is create some form of a council and say, okay. And what I liked is they chose, it was like, oh, we're just picking the big content creators. They chose from an assortment of people, even people in their, like, I guess, Reddits or Discords and stuff like that who contribute. So anyway, long story short, the vibe I got from him was he interviewed Philip. It's my first time ever seeing this. Was a Philip Holt guy, the news studio. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like, he impressed me. I came in ready to hate. I came in ready to be like, nah, you never played the game. Who are you? And yes, I do have honestly, I was just attachment to the old leadership is wrong. I just have a familiarity with the older leadership. So I just wanted to know.
They delivered 2 pretty great games, right? So
exactly. There you go. The Xbox Live Arcade game, and then obviously State of Decay 2 and stuff like that. So the key things that I like that he's get off the back is how, Sonny had mentioned, he's like, look, I know you guys are seeing stills, and I know you're seeing some over-the-shoulder camera stuff on YouTube with decompression for the few things that they did show Moon. He said, I'm telling y'all right now, this game looks spectacular in person, right? So that was the first. He said these two shots do not do it enough when he's able to talk, because clearly he's under NDA for a lot of stuff. Sure. You know what I'm saying? That he'd be able to explain. But that's one thing that stood out. As far as the direction of the game, I like the fact that they have now worked with Obsidian, using that shared tech situation, no untethered. Oh my God, that was one of my biggest complaints with the tethering. No tethering in State of Decay 2, where you got the homies and you got to be in this very short radius whenever you're looting and you're doing your stuff.
Right.
Huge.
Right.
Working with Coalition. Huge from a graphical standpoint. I like that. So the shared tech stuff like that, they alluded to choice and consequence, which to me was very interesting, which is like, okay, you could choose to do this settlement or do this thing, but you won't have access to these other things if you pick, whatever this direction kind of thing. I like the focus on single player, saying, hey, we understand that a lot of our base actually plays State of Decay 2 in a single player fashion. So I love that. Choice and consequence, permanent death continue to do. One key thing for me, serious tone, removing campiness. Like that. I'm like, okay. So there was a lot here. And I like that he got in front of the lie, like, yo, that zombie did, that's not in the joint. You know what I'm saying? Like,
do it now, bro. Do it now before more people are paying attention, I guess. That's all I could say.
Absolutely. I got certain things that I want from them. You know what I'm saying? As far as, when we talk about that, let you go. But look, I will say he did say this. Sonny said this today. He did a live stream before we went, and he was kind of like, people like when to expect it. He's like, look, I'm going to tell y'all right now, I'd be shocked if this game doesn't come out early 2027. So the multiple builds of this alpha, whatever they've been playing, all they talk about is they just can't wait to get back to play it again. That's how excitement is. They are with it. Obviously we do know about, they put out the thing for the alpha. People are going to see if they get in there. He said he also would be shocked if it's not at the showcase. So I'm getting early 2027 vibes, and to be honest, I think it's about time, kind of thing. So yeah, it's a lot more to say to it, but I got to admit, I'm a huge State of Decay fan.
Same.
And I was just worried about the studio and I worried about this franchise, but from what I'm seeing, and it's early, we got to get our hands on it. We got to see everything. But from what Sunny Games and this council that they've created, I got optimistic. I was like, wow, okay. I'm feeling Philip Holt impressed me enough. And I like he's taking a very measured and honest approach. And let's just see if they deliver. But that was what I got from it. I'm just curious, what you got from it. Do you need to see more? What did you like? What didn't you like? Where are you at with this all this information?
There's some things that he talked about that I want to see, not from I'm skeptical of it, but if it's playing out how it does in my head, I think they're taking inspiration from some games that could make State of Decay 3 bigger than I think any of us are considering. People love zombie games, right? I don't think that gets talked about enough. We always talk about zombie fatigue, but I think there's more zombie fans than fatigued zombie fans. I say that because I think of something like Days Gone. Days Gone is a game that I almost called it a cult following in my video on State of Decay, but I was like, it's not a cult following. Like, this thing sold millions and millions of copies. People loved it. Like, it's a popular game. There's no denying that even if you have problems with Days Gone, Colin used the perfect word to describe it. It's always stuck with me because I think there's sometimes like a critic comes in and puts the perfect word to a game. And Colin did that, which kind of shaped my opinion in a more positive way of Days Gone. He said it's locomotion, like the way you're constantly moving and barreling things down and run away, and just there's trains of zombies following you like this squiggly line. Like
hordes, and that was crazy.
Amazing, right?
Mm-hmm.
One thing that Philip Holt talked about in the interview was about how this is set years later. Like he said, we never really defined when, but he's like, State of Decay 1 was immediately after the outbreak. 2 is a year or so later, but 3, like, you're seasoned, you expect this. And that's kind of in line with the player. Like, we've seen State of Decay multiple times. He talked about how their crafting would play a huge role. He called it maker culture. Like using it, he said his concept artist was making like a tea kettle and using the whistling to attract zombies and it explodes, which was very Dead Rising. And obviously State of Decay has its own like crazy weapons and whatnot. But combining that with them saying that the infection is going to come to you. That you can't just,
that.
they said you can't hunker down in your base. The infection will come to you. That also sounds very like Days Gone in that like you're just always feeling a little threatened in its world, in my experience. And if they can make it this thing where like this isn't your safe space, but something you have to protect. Another key takeaway that connects to this is that he said they had like stats on how many people engage with the game after they lost someone. And they realized more people play and stick with the game when their characters die.
Interesting.
And they said it was kind of like this reverse thing that you wouldn't expect. You think most people were like, oh no, I lost my favorite character, I'm done. But they said they noticed people go back in right away. So I think their idea is they want to make a very active world there is no safe place. And with that combined with untethered co-op, that allows you to not just be a guest in your friend's world, but that you build bases together, you do missions together. It's true co-op while still supporting single player. I want to see all of that in action. And COG, if it is what we're describing right now, I think this will be one of Xbox's biggest games this generation. I kid you not. Because I do sincerely, and it's early to say, that's why I'm not like, oh, full send, it's going to be. But it can be, because zombies are huge. Co-op is huge. If it's a threat and it gets this emergent moments going, which is what State of Decay 1 and 2 were so good at, and getting you attached to that character, if they deliver on that, plus the true co-op, plus the maker culture, like that, those are the things I'm waiting to see. Because I'm like, if they can do that, this can be amazing. I like that the settlement sounded more distinct. They talked about how there were some unique ones that had like pre-established benefits that you'd build within a place. That's very Fallout to me. I love that Fallout has like pre-established locations that were transformed by the world after like a breakout has happened, or in that case, after the bombs have fallen. What they said, last thing, I want to kick it back to you. What they mentioned about Obsidian specifically was what kind of got my interest, because you got a bigger idea of what Xbox Game Studios is capable of in collaboration, which is what we all dreamt of when certain teams were purchased at certain times with certain IP in the mix. A guy can dream a little bit. But in this case, it was that Undead Labs lent a shared world code to Obsidian to make Grounded. And then Obsidian took that and expanded upon it. And then when it was time for State of Decay 3, they returned the code to them. And so if you've played Grounded 2 and you know, or Grounded 1, and you know what that untethered multiplayer experience can bring to the table, or that it's server side stuff, and that COG, you and I are playing State of Decay 3 together, and if I'm not online, you can still join our State of Decay world and keep playing. That stuff is in Grounded. The proof of concept is there. And me and COG have said for years that stuff is incredible. So to see how they work together, you know, we always knew Coalition was in the mix when it was Unreal Engine, but to see how like Obsidian expanded a feature and then gave it back. I know it's not exactly plug and play, but to see how that worked and knowing what that can do for a game, that made me tremendously excited for State of Decay 3. Because now we know, like, we didn't really get a full, like, we knew it was multiplayer, tether related, but now we have a true clear picture of like when we saw Obsidian co-developing, we're like, what? Like, how many co-development partners does State of Decay 3 have now? This is ridiculous. But now it starts to make sense when you see those names on the board. So I just thought that was really cool. That also got me pretty excited, just knowing what Grounded has done and how Grounded won both us skeptics over. We were both like, it was this whack shit. But like, went in there and we're like, yeah, okay, Obsidian, do that again. And I can't wait for Grounded 2 to enter its 1.0 because I will be all over that. So COG, I kick it back to you. Yeah. I'm personally excited by what they were saying. I thought it was a good interview. I agree with you that Philip Holt, I admire just being right. Like, again, to me, the winning moment was not anything else other than just like owning what happened with the first trailer and just telling it as it could have just been like, yeah, like I've because we've seen this before. Yeah, we revealed it too soon. Todd with Elder Scrolls 6. But to kind of be like that level of detail and transparency, I do kind of just respect that nature of like, yeah, we know this isn't going to win us a lot of love, but like, we're just going to tell you as it is because we want you to have the right expectations going in. I think that's good.
I think he's taking the right approach, and I love the way he's interacting with the community and just in general about the game. And I do see a level of passion there that, you know, and understanding what the product is. So yeah, you nailed it. The key thing too, what you said that I want to definitely expound upon is playing State of Decay 2. I am a base guy. right? And that plays to my sensibility. Like, yo, I got to strengthen my base. You know, we got to make sure we got the food. We got to make sure we got our resources, ammo, everything we need, you know, medicine and so on and so forth. And I could tend to hunker. And what I love that they said, no, we want to make you feel unsafe. You know, the threat will come to you. That is huge. And like you said, like the way they're that ground, we cannot talk enough about that grounded tech, that obsidian tech, and them sharing those resources. That is the future of gaming. That server side stuff, because we always play co-op games. We always play multiplayer games. You got that one homie, damn, he not on. You know what I'm saying? I can't go, I can't play, you know, because this, that, or our time schedules are different. We just can't play together. You could continue that share world. And also you could take it and save it as a single player file yourself. If you just want to play by yourself, you can copy that file. That's what's another thing Grounded did that I love for people. Let's say, you know, people drop out and you're like, damn, because you know how like you start something with 2 or 3 or 4 defined people, and then something happens and one of those persons drops out, you know what I'm saying, kind of thing. I love that you could still bring someone else in or make it a single play experience and then adapt on and enjoy. So yeah, they got the balance and they got things they're going to do. The last thing that I need to see is if Sunny Games did a video on it. It was a snippet when during the Brant Fitzgerald, alpha test sign up announcement, he was walking in the studios. So he clipped it, he paused it. There was a picture of one survivor and his group and another survivor, I guess, in their group. And they were kind of doing an extended handshake. We could be reaching, but literally, but I've always wanted State of Decay to now flirt with the human side more. Are there other survivors? We're talking a more weathered, a more darker world. You know, they're seasoned, they've been in it. I would love, because I remember way back, I could talk about it now, during State of Decay 2, some of the development things that were on the cutting floor that never came out were things like they wanted to do like rival groups and dealing with a human threat and how that would be crazy. And they never was able to implement that. I know this is one little picture. This may mean nothing. That may not even get to the game. But the joke on IOP was like, if you got the Negans and the Negan group, I will be down for this. Yo, they were killing us, yo. They were using Negan in wild context as an IOP. I was like, we're going to get canceled. Y'all going to stop. They was like, Negan, please. I was like, stop it. They were super chatting out. Yo, they took over the show when I said this Negan thing, and it was hilarious. But that, and then the last thing is I want to know how they do, because everything, like you said, is make, craft, shift, and all that other stuff. You know, how are we handling food? Because remember, he said the world is
survivalist cog in his bag today.
Oh, bro, this is the
man needs to eat and drink in his games. Come on,
yo, I love this. You know me. I'll put
that in get it for your base, if I remember correctly. So there's that element, right? But for your own character, right?
True. Yeah. How do you deal with the clean water? You know, all that stuff and the food. You know, because again, in a world that is seasoned, that is picked clean of loot, where you're now forced to craft, how does that work? So I got questions, man. I'm excited. Yeah. You saw the closet thing came back with the cut. They said that was a feature that later in the game, I didn't even know they added that. You know, the community
so many updates. I have no idea what's in this game now.
I'm like tempted to just jump in, State of Decay 2.
I was thinking about that over the weekend. I really was. If I wasn't reviewing so much, I would have. But yeah,
same.
I'm right there with you.
I got no time. And I got a little fever because I'm like, man, I didn't know all the subsequent updates that I had stopped playing, and they are taking some of them and then adding new stuff. But I'm with you, Maddie. I didn't want to get gas. I thought it's just me. I am super excited. If it's 2027, like Sonny thinks it may be, that and Clockwork already starting off 2027, real nice. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I like those two. You know what I mean? Yeah. So let's see what happens, man.
Yeah. Couple other things. You mentioned the State of Decay 2 updates that influenced it. They mentioned the plague territories as well as the artifact updates. They also talked a little bit about post-launch support, and they said that they're trying to get away from lovable jank, which I thought was interesting. So you should try to expect, I guess, a higher level of polish for State of Decay 3. They already have planned updates for post-launch, and they're hoping to have a live roadmap. I think I would have kept that under wraps. Do you agree with that? Like, State of Decay is it's catch-22. Based on how 1 and 2 both went, you're on a ride. And if 30 plus updates of State of Decay 2 did not communicate that to you, like actual major updates, if that didn't communicate that to you, I don't know what really will. Yeah. But saying this now when you just showed up out of hiding and you're like alpha playtest, you're like, yeah, we already know what we're cutting from the game. And we're going to save that for later. You know, the problem is State of Decay 2 and 1 released in climates where like people are accepting of this. But I think like your day one product matters a lot. And I, as a fan, I don't mind when I hear this. I'm like, yeah, I know they've got features galore planned for State of Decay 3, just like they did with 2. And they're just going to keep delivering and keep delivering. Like, I know that. But for the broader, yappier demographic, you know, when you look at something like that, and you kind of tee it up like you're already holding things back, even if, again, it's a known quantity within the community, that community's still tighter, I would say. I feel like I would have kept that one to myself, you know, like talking post-launch support when you're still probably over a year out. And, you know, we're just doing alpha play tests, and that for people who are versed enough to, you know, at least know, oh, that's still pretty early for a thing that got announced in 2020. Like, that's all they know. So right. I don't know how you felt about hearing about post-launch support. We both, I think, knew it's definitely a thing they're going to do and they should do. But saying already, like talking live roadmaps, talking post-launch support, how did you feel about that?
I guess the reason why I didn't feel away is he said a key statement. I don't know if you caught this.
Let me see if
when he was mentioning, he mentioned post-launch support, but I think before that, he may have mentioned something to the fact like at the start of the game in player feedback, and he said like his focus went back to like, hey, we think we got something great or something to that fact, but the player feedback is going to determine, because he didn't want to answer a question from Sonny in terms of like the law. He was like, basically, we got to take the feedback because things that we may have at launch that we think are fire. I'm just paraphrasing. We're going to have to be able to be adaptable to kind of change at launch. And I love that aspect where it's like, okay, we think we have a quality game, but our ego is not high enough that we are lockstep 100% guaranteed. Now, obviously, there's some things that are hard-coded that you cannot change because that is State of Decay 3. But the way he was saying it was almost like adaptable or certain things in that if player sentiment says, yo, we're not feeling this, we're taking this out. And basically, I got the vibe that the window between now, the alpha, and we're still have different permutations of certain things. And I was like, interesting. So that's the only reason why I was like, okay, I agree. Yes, corporate cog, like, okay, you're talking about, you try to get that roadmap going. I get that, in fairness, yes, he's answering a question that was asked because Sonny definitely wanted to know that question. You could have took the more, seasoned route where you say, we're not ready to discuss that at this time. You would have been safe. So I guess part of me, he's like so honest that it's like he's giving you mostly all the bars he can. Yeah. And I can understand how someone could perceive. I don't want to minimize someone saying, hey, I don't know if you should have mentioned that. You could have said that for later. Just focus on that in the plane. But I do want to give him credit. He was like, about that plane landing with this launch, don't think that we are so married to every little thing that it is not changeable. And
you have to be nimble if they support the way they do. Yeah.
I love this council approach. And I know that's a little controversial thing, because obviously creators, you should get, or if you don't say compensated or looked at as your take, being a beta tester. I think King he's always fought me on this because he's like, look, man, you're doing a lot of work for these guys, you know what I'm saying, as far as content creators. And I always feel it's,
sometimes it's free. I've been invited to these types of programs and I always say no, because it's like, not even if you paid me, it's like just more, it's a separation of church and state thing, I think. For you. Like it's one thing, the product's done, let's talk about it. But it's another thing, I can't speak, I'm not speaking holier than that. Yeah. Like I do, occasional sponsored videos and stuff. Yeah. Like, so I get how that would also look. But, for like testing and like doing pre-release work for a game, and just being like a front line for the community voice, many just do that for free. Like they just do it for opportunity. Yeah. And I do think these companies, many of them take complete advantage. I don't know if that's the case that's happening with Undead Labs, but at least in my experience, the ones that I've seen, I'm like, no, I'm good. Like, no, yeah, absolutely. It can be predatory. I'm not going to sit there and say it. One, I think the flip side to it, because I guess I am a person that I am a fan of. First of all, the number one way to get me is if I truly love something, it's not going to come off fake. So I only try to associate with things that I actually love because
it's me telling the truth and being my honest self, because I'm going to tell you if I don't like it. As many times people have come to me and say, hey, you're beta, or whatever. And I'm like, look, this is not in my wheelhouse, and I just going to be honest. I'm not the person for that, right? But to the flip side, there's also the smaller creator who will never get a spotlight on them, you know what I'm saying, kind of thing, and has a true passion for the game. Who am I to tell that person, hey, don't accept that opportunity? You have to understand what you're getting into. But I understand both sides. I don't think there's a wrong answer. I think it's a personal choice. That's just how I look at it. But overall, basically what I was going at is that with this situation, as far as how they're handling their franchise, I do feel there's a lot of care as far as they want to land the plane. And that's what I care about. I care about the overall quality of the game and them listening. Because too many times, and we've had too many stories early on, Duke, where executive reasons or whatever, people are going away from what makes you great. And I think sometimes you do got to go to the source of that. But yeah, I get it. It's a fair discussion. I don't think what you're saying is out of pocket. And I definitely don't go at anybody that says, nope, I don't want no part of that. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I respect that as well.
Yeah. I mean, I'm certainly not judging someone like Sonny. I hope it doesn't come across that way. But definitely, if I guess it incentivizes the audience to take what you say with a grain of salt, I would say, because you come across like someone who works there. Like, it's just that simple. Oh shit! I just dropped a whole ass mic, dude.
Full disclosure is important.
Oh.
No.
The whole microphone.
Oh, the arm. Oh, damn.
Yeah, the arm just came off.
I didn't know the arm came. Oh,
I might hold the arm for the rest of the episode.
Man, we got to move through the topic, man. Damn, I'm sorry. That sucks. Wait, the whole.
I mean, it's fine. I'll fix it after, but I was just trying to. I knew one day this would give out on me. I was trying to push it back to get it out of my way. I moved the mic too much during a podcast.
I'll do the same thing. That sucks. All right, we're moving.
No, we're good. We're good. Don't rush.
That's arm day.
We're good. Yeah. Straight up. All right. This next one. Halo Studios. We want to talk about a topic that we're not going to be quick on. Here we go.
I know.
All right. Let's, if I end up hitting my mic too much, just let me know. But let's do some reading here. So many of you may call the news here that Xbox owned Halo Studios has found itself in a world of trouble. Now, back in October, we read a LinkedIn post from Glenn Israel, who was the art director at 343. Prior to that, he was a senior concept artist at Bungie. So he's been in Halo since 2008. And he had left the company and basically put out a very ominous warning of like, don't sell yourself short and take evidence when necessary. That sort of thing that mentioned like he had something on Halo Studios and it was going to come undone at some point. And then he posted a follow-up saying like, we'll talk next year. So that time has come. I'm going to read his posts in full, Xbox's response, and I'll pass it to Cog as I attempt to fix my microphone.
Yes.
All right. Let me hold this with two hands. All right. Post 1 of 2. Glenn writes, under the revised code of Washington, Title 49, Chapter 44, Section 211, I allege the following. 1, that between January 2024 and June 2025, I witnessed firsthand or was personally subjected to numerous unethical and or unlawful acts committed by senior Halo Studios representatives, including, but not limited to, blacklisting, fraud, rampant favoritism / cronyism, manifesting as hiring and career growth interference, and multiple harassment campaigns designed to provoke the constructive discharge of unwanted employees otherwise in good standings. 2, that after filing several documented complaints with Microsoft's Human Resources Department in June 2025, a senior global employee relations representative threatened retaliation on first contact and promised to quash any further investigation. 3, that senior Halo Studios representatives engaged in a 4-day-long act of harassment intended to manufacture a cause for my termination in July 2025, that the aforementioned GER representatives, supervisor, and Microsoft's business conduct and compliance departments were provided daily visibility and failed to take any appropriate disruptive action during the act, nor punitive action afterwards. Next, that complaints escalated to BRI and Microsoft's workplace investigation team were reported closed by the aforementioned GER representative when in fact they had been returned as out of scope. Next, that in August 2025, the catastrophic mismanagement of Halo campaign Evolve created an opportunity for senior Halo Studios representatives to temporarily reassign the art team from my unannounced project and falsely characterize my role as redundant, a plainly retaliatory act. Next up, that in September 2025, a GER director promised to have this retaliation investigated and then disallowed any consideration of the original complaints, subsequent harassment, or actions taken by the GER representatives. That between June and October 2005, GER, BRI, and WIT failed to carry out even the most cursory investigation by refusing to interview primary witnesses cited in the original complaints. And lastly, at least on this post, that between September and November 2025, Microsoft openly violated RCW 49.12.250 and has since made no attempt to meet its penalty obligation. Next up, in post 2 of 2, he writes, given the number of people who have contacted me privately since my original post last October, I also strongly suspect the following. 1, that Microsoft routinely contrives and otherwise exploits layoffs to rid itself of employees who have filed proper and effective complaints, thereby masking these retaliatory acts with a thin veneer of business justification. 2, that organizations and investigations within Microsoft's human resources umbrella are deliberately compartmentalized to obfuscate responsibility and create plausible deniability. Those of you who have shared or can substantiate these suspicions, please feel free to contact me privately as well. I know that our industry is in a truly dire strait right now, but as a matter of public interest, I cannot in good conscience recommend seeking employment at this organization or continuing there if you have any other option. Your effort and expertise are not respected. They are not fairly compensated. If you refuse to engage in political gamesmanship, your career will stall. If you object, you will be forced out. I have the evidence, and you are not safe. Now, in response to all of this, Microsoft had the following to say, quote, out of respect, we don't publicly discuss individual employee issues, but we do take all claims seriously for both current and former employees. End quote. With that, Cog, I will attempt to fix my microphone for the remainder of this podcast, and I pass it over to you. What do you think?
Wow. Where do we begin? Like I said before last, Duke, I'm tired, boss. I'm just tired. I'm tired. It's always something with Halo Studios. And, normally, I'm a person that, me, I'm say devil's advocate, or I always want to hear a full side of the story. Yeah, of course, there's always a second side of the story. But the problem here is we have heard these kind of things before. And it seems every 4 to 6 months, there's some level of this. And look, I don't claim to be an insider. I don't, people tell me things a lot of times, in confidence, and I just keep my mouth shut. But I will say, in this particular case, when in terms of what's going on with Halo Studios and how the climate is, yeah, I've heard things. And I've heard, things that are not good at all. And, we talked about the situation before in the past with creatives and creatives not being heard. But the thing that's really disheartening is when I hear about cronyism. And I hearing about, silencing and, because in corporate, this is a thing that happens when in terms of if you have a person who is considered a volatile employee or someone that is just not liked or whatever, they'll use the redundancy thing on you to get you up out of there. And again, all this screams good old boy club energy. And this seems to be, again, inconsistent. And we just already went with a leadership change not that long ago, right? About, from the top level on and stuff like that. Look, and I'll be the first to admit this to me from the past regime. I've always said there was 2 things. Even it was said before, if you lose your way with Halo, you lose your way with that. Like, you don't have these issues. Could you imagine we doing reporting on inside Nintendo and Miyamoto and the craziness that is going on with the development of the next Mario game? And Mario, Odyssey, hell behind the scenes, and they can't get the game out on launch. And you know what I mean? Like, we don't hear that with any other companies Halo is so iconic. It means so much to the brand. And we don't have that level of care and appreciation. And for me, the red flag, first of all, this, which is really bad, is that the red flag is they're still talking about Halo Campaign Evolved. These are still recent kind of claims. These are not claims that are like, okay, this was way back and now. These are still fairly recent on a new game. You know what I'm saying? And the art director saying, these things and people feeling this retaliatory stuff. Where do I begin? It's so much I could go here with this. I will say it's not good. Like I said, if the allegations are true that, human resources, he feels that human resources is not providing that. Well, they provide, listen, they work for the company. Let me take that back. But it is sad in that it doesn't feel like a proper investigation according to his claims was done. Here's what needs to happen. Asha, if you want to win me over, another thing you can do is get to the root of this issue at Halo Studios at 343. Because the indictment was that when he put this post out, there were other former directors saying, yup, co-signing. Multiple people co-signing. Yup, Glenn, that happened to me. Culture's horrible. All this other stuff. There needs to be what they call it, like when the cops mess up, internal affairs. We need an independent investigator to go in there, and this is management included. You know what I'm saying? Because I have heard, I want to be fair, I have heard that there are a ton of hardworking people, great people in this building still. But it's clear as day, there are still some bad apples in certain positions that people are feeling are an obstruction. And this is also an environment that refuses, I'm noticing. Remember when we found out about the Halo Infinite stuff and the slip space? All we heard about was the engine. And then we were like, okay, well, damn, why they got everybody, so many damn contractors? And then why are they not just making people full-time? Why are there so many contractors on your key IP franchise? You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong, not that the contracting does not happen in the industry, but it just seems like all they would do was churning out new ones. Guys are there for 2-3 years, leave. Then they got to come back in, learn a proprietary engine that apparently was not the easiest to work with and also affected the amount of content. But the other red flag to me is you save this game, Halo Infinite, from Craig Face. You save this game by bringing in another finisher. In my opinion, the legendary Joseph Staten with true ties to this campaign, true ties to be able to get you to a serviceable state. How is it that Joseph Staten is no longer here anymore? And I just feel, I look at that funny. And maybe, Netflix or whoever threw the bag crazy, maybe that's just it. And that's the answer. But to me, how is that man not empowered after it was saved? That's a red flag. Like, I don't get that. So that denotes to me power struggle. That denotes to me, because if he remember, he was sitting on his couch. I remember the story. It was kind of like he was sitting on his couch, energy, and they were like, hey, do you want to? He's like, yeah, I'll take a look at it. I'll see what's going on, because of that care, that feel, that connection. It's weird to me that people are just so quick to be like, yeah, I'm good now for whatever reason, or move on. Again, it denotes to me internal struggle. I don't want to be disrespectful to what's his name, Pierre Heights. I don't know the gentleman, right? I will give him credit for the sense of, I know what Master Chief Collection, he turned that thing around. I will give him that. But again, I don't know him. I don't know if it's a specific managers under him. I don't know who it is. I don't care. I'm tired of you always having problems. I'm sick of Halo being in the center of some stupid storm every month. It's always a problem. This is Asha's biggest challenge. Getting to the root of this, because this has been consistent during the Xbox era. This game was supposed to launch, Halo Infinite was supposed to launch on the back of the box with the console. Didn't. You know what I'm saying? Disastrous launch. Then you have a great, it missed the launch. Then it finally does launch. It's great. The multiplayer, shout out to the team who, those guys, I believe it was like Andrew Witz, who's now on Marathon, a couple other people, a lot of people, Patrick Wayne, a lot of people that was like super, that you can say whatever you want about Halo Infinite, but I remember campaign solid and the actual multiplayer fun. The issue just came down to they had no pipeline for support to continue with like a normal live service game so they could have the legs it needed to survive. And then people got bored and saw some of the issues. But yeah, bro, I mean, I could go on and on. I'm just so frustrated. I'm so angry. This game means so much to me. I feel it's just treated so disrespectfully. And this is not a situation where they're afforded benefit of the doubt anymore. They're just not. They have too much of a rap sheet. They have too much of a, thing. So I'm pulling for them on Campaign Involved. I feel hopefully that's a slam dunk. But to Glenn and to all the stuff that's coming out now, hopefully there's a proper investigation to see what's going on. And any bad apples that are in this building, you need to act on it. It's good old boy era needs to end because it's looking spooky out here. Rant over. I know I've been rambling a while. I just want to give you some bars for the mic.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I got it up and running here. I'm afraid to touch it though because I tried to move it once and it fucking flew off again. I was like, all right, I'm gonna leave it as is and then I'm gonna give it like a test run once the show is done.
No doubt.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very tempted to come in strong on this topic, but I think it'll carry more weight if Combat Evolved Remake is something that misses the mark. But really, I am close to just saying like, get rid of them, bro. Like I'm usually not of that speed, but like you got to be good to work for. And it's one thing if you're working on some whatever the fuck game or a B level IP, but like when you are the Xbox IP, you are expected a level of greatness, and not only greatness, but professionalism. There should be an eagerness to work on that franchise. And that does not exist. There should be an eagerness to support that franchise. And most people just laugh at it. You can literally trace every bad thing that's happened to Halo back to this company. That's impressive. The TV show, the fucking awful marketing for their games with 5, the misdirections. It even goes back, if you really want to get nitpicky with it, it goes back to their artistic understanding of Halo 1 when they did the Combat Evolved Anniversary Edition. And you go to certain missions like where you're first introduced to the Flood, which had a lot of environmental storytelling. It was the levels were covered in blood. And like, it was like, who the fuck killed these guys? Like, I've been killing them all game, but I wasn't here. So who did all this? And you go to like their graphics mode, they just scrub all of that clean. Like they showed so many times, they just don't fucking get it. They don't. And I don't know who you got to pay, who's going to understand it, but they just don't get it. So it's the product. It's like the product on the field and off the field, right? Like you and I are sports fans. It's one thing if the dude on the field is fire. Like he shows up, he's batting 300. He's got like 30 home runs, 100 RBIs. But then you hear like the stories like he's a bit of a locker room cancer though, For the fans, you're like, all right, well, he's kind of helping us win some ball games, But then you got the dudes who are awful. They bat 200. Barely put up 50 ribbies in a season. And then they got the balls to talk like they are the superstar and to kind of move the certain ways they do. And so you got both sides of the field now. You're like, get him out of here. So that's how I think about it. I think about that product that a sports team puts on the field. I think about those players and I'm like, this is a player. In the case, the player is Halo Studios. And I'm like, you got to wonder, bro. Because as Cog mentioned, benefit of the doubt is gone. Not because they fucked up Infinite or they fucked up 5 or they fucked up 4 or they fucked up the Anniversary Edition or they fucked up the TV show. Benefit of the doubt is gone because they also have had so many workplace culture issues for years. When we were reading about Infinite's development on this very show, we were reading about factions being formed within the studio where they had like multiple prototypes going at the same time because so many teams were empowered to be like, you're so wrong that I'm going to gather this group of people. Yes. I'm going to make my own prototype. And I'm going to show you. And they're like, oh, bet I'm going to make my prototype, bro. Like, it's unfucking believable. We're talking about the team shepherding Halo. And the best thing, here's the sad part. And this will get into it right in. The best things that have come from this franchise have been when 343 is at best co-involved. Halo Wars 2 and a Helldivers collaboration. I can say that Infinite I had a solid time with, but the handling of it just emphasized again the lack of management and preparation and understanding of what's required of them to deliver a game project. Anton K has this right. He says, hey, Dukes, a lot of drama surrounding Halo right now. I was wondering, since Xbox licensed out ODST to Helldivers 2, would they be willing to license out other spinoffs? Could we ever see a Bungie Halo spinoff? Have a let me have my crazy dream kind of day. Anton, we appreciate you. And that's where I'm going with this whole thing, right? Because what I care about as much as the people who are working there and sort of making that a good environment is like, I don't think there's an immediate solution to fixing Halo Studios outside of like, if they just fuck up this remake, you thought people were calling for the shutdown with Infinite. Like, it's going to be awful if the remake is terrible. So we'll see. I won't go there yet. I want the remake to be great.
Mm-hmm.
But the best that Asha could do, I think, right now, outside of just watching this studio act the way they do, just start taking this IP and giving it to, like, I look at what Konami's been doing, right? With Silent Hill. I'll admit, I was very skeptical of the Bloober Team partnership. And now I'm like, I'm a Bloober Team stan. I'm like, dude, fucking Chronos kicks ass. Silent Hill 2 remake kicks ass. But they have their own little internal studio and they do Silent Hill F, right? But like, they're licensing it out more. Castlevania, let's get the Dead Cells guys to do a new Castlevania game. Match made in heaven. You have Xbox, who owns a bunch of first-person shooting studios, but also there are many out there who would make a great Halo game, you know? And I'm sure we all have ideas and collaborations, things that come to mind. Halo survival horror games, new Halo multiplayer games, that sort of stuff. Ooh. The fact that this is a franchise that's like a stick in the mud right now is insane. Because it's one thing if you do, I look at Mario on the other side of the fence. That's what Xbox has with Halo. That's their Mario. When I look at Mario, you can disappear after Odyssey for as long as you want, because when you showed up with Odyssey, it was a bona fide 10 out of 10. And I'm the dude who makes fun of people for, quote, just pressing the A button in platformers, you know? Like, I'm saying that. So you can go show up at the start of a generation and be like, all right, no Mario from us until we're well and ready. Because you know what? Sure, you'll make it worth our while. So go ahead, take your time, and we get things like DK, Bonanza. We get the Mario 3D World re-release with Bowser's Fury. Like, we do get Mario stuff. You know, same with Zelda. It's like, you can peace out for a while if you're going to keep like, okay, you did Breath of the Wild, then Tears of the Kingdom. It's like, okay, we'll see you in a little bit. Here comes an Ocarina of Time remake. We'll see how that goes. Like, you earn the right to disappear, but it's not always just like one single team doing these things. Like, Xbox does need to start. If they want to restore confidence in Halo, it's not coming from this team.
Right.
Even if the reaction I'm giving is because even if Campaign Evolved kicks ass, this team still sucks as people. You know, not all of them, but they still suck, dude. This is not going to get fixed through them. You might as well just keep fucking rolling the dice, is my opinion. But I see this sort of stuff, and yeah, like you, it's just disappointing because I'm like, how many times do we have to see these stories? And I know people, again, are going to be like, well, you know, innocent before guilty. And sure. You know, let's hear both sides of the argument, see how this goes. But from my point of view, dude, when I see devs on LinkedIn who work there, you could literally look at their profile and be like, yep, saw it too. Let me know if you need anything.
Yes. Like, it's supportive. People are like, yep, that happened to me. Oh yeah, brother. Like, bro, they've established such a terrible reputation. And I'm gonna be honest, you know what else I smell from it? Again, to put my corporate cog hat on, I smell like an organization that is trying to do things as cheaply as possible without the respect of the creative. And basically taking shortcuts. Oh yeah, we don't have to get full-time employees. Contractors do that. Oh yeah, we can, you know, have to do a dedicated engine. We can do our own engine. You know what I'm saying? And we can, you know what I mean? Everything smells cheap. That's what's doing it. Just, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna be honest, just from the outside, if I put my corporate cog hat on, if I had to guess what is going on, it feels like make it cheap, make it efficient. We could tell the higher ups, hey, look how much money we're saving with this. And it's not, you cannot do this when this IP is literally the heart and soul of your brand. And you got people in that building and creatives that know it. And the fact that you're talking the stories with what we call the little fiefdoms, right? Where one person comes up and is like, well, I don't like, I completely disagree with what you're saying. And we need to do it this way. And the stories of so many cool things that I've heard about scrapped. Yeah, just scrap. And I'm like, that would have been dope. You know what I'm saying?
Ideas that Staten came in and saw with Infinite that should have been there. And he's like, where are the Marines?
Remember that?
Yeah, like that's the thing I'm talking about. I'm like, they just don't know, you know?
Think about that's what I'm saying. Like, again, I don't know 100% certainty why State left, but it bothers me because at the end of the day, it's like that man got off. He cared so much, he got off the couch to come save it. And now he's gone. I find that too coincidental. That to me, I know how corporate is. When you're not feeling the situation, oh, that resume is up on LinkedIn. You moved and then you like, oh, these dudes don't know what the hell they don't. I'm out. That's what it smells like. Everybody has a story. They can't wait to talk when they leave.
Bro, I'm telling you straight up, like, this is also, to be fair, reflective of where AAA is at.
True.
I've been lucky to have talked to a lot of devs who were in AAA and just like off the record recently and just like pick their brain a bit on like why they went indie or why they're looking to go indie or what that, like, they've all been just saying the same thing, bro, which is like indies are coming to eat AAA's lunch. People are doing things wrong. Processes are bad. And that's why you're getting more infighting. Like, yes, creatives are moody people. No doubt about that. Like, I won't deny that stereotype. Like, we're all moody people for sure. But there's a lot of people getting their backs up because we're doing things more expensive and things are coming out worse. And it's because like people will bounce studios and like tour and rotate and sort of like put the resume out and then play the game, you know, where you'll bounce back and be like, well, they're offering me 300. What are you offering me? 350? And they go back to that studio and be like, they're offering me 350. Yeah. What are you offering me? 400? Okay. And they bet until they get the highest offer. Yeah. That stuff drives up development costs because people are just fucking bleeding these companies dry, you know? Yeah. And so I look at that, like the lack of reverence for AAA, the lack of desire to be there, the treatment they get. There's so many. I was talking to one dev and they were like, we're in a bunch of Discords and like the joke is, and I mean, I've seen it publicly too, so it's not like a secret. It's like, you ship a bad game, you get fired. You ship a great game, you get fired. You ship a bad selling game, you get fired. And you ship a high selling game, you get fired. Preach. No one gives a fuck anymore because you're getting fired anyway. Preach. So that's why you got people like Glenn making noise. You got people who are in his replies working at different companies being like, I'll help. Yeah. That's why you got people leaving AAA, going indie. So it's indicative of a broader problem with AAA, but it does circle around Halo Studios, aka 343, often. And I hate to pick on them, but I gotta be honest, dude. Like, it's happened so many times that if I'm Asha, I'm like if I'm in the room, feedback number one, and it's probably like beyond the achievements and stuff. I'm like, take a fucking look and tell me if you're happy with what you see. Here's where this brand once was. Look at where it's been since they got it. Can you please start licensing this out to developers who will give it time and attention and care? I can tell you right now, if a Halo indie project came out, like they gave it to a small team, to a small Halo, you're playing as like an ODST trooper, spin-off, stuck in a city. They barely got resources to survive. Make a ODST survival horror spin-off for us. I guarantee that'd be a massive success. Because Xbox is starting to maybe understand the benefit of optical wins, and you could get it so easily with Halo because the lore is waiting to be expanded upon. And the best we got, when I say best, Halo Wars is great. Yeah. But I was going to say the best we have, like, as in like random ones, they did a twin stick shooter. Like, they can't even spin off right. You know, I think this is Bungie era, but still, I'm saying like they can't even spin off right. so just, again, dude, like I see this stuff and I give more benefit or belief toward someone like Glenn because we've seen this enough times. But how many times does this have to keep happening? Like leadership, generation after generation, leadership tenure after leadership tenure. How many times do we have to read these stories of like again, it's one thing if it's like I don't know, I'm trying to think like it's Banjo-Kazooie team. It's like, okay, you know, we'll figure it out. But like it's the Halo team. Things don't have to be perfect. They're not always going to be perfect. It's okay if people challenge each other in these environments. That's what makes good conversation. That's what makes good products. But it's another thing to be like, you're so wrong. I'm going to go create my own team and then make my own prototype and challenge yours. Not in a way of like, hey, let's find out what's at the bottom of this well, but like, you're wrong. Watch this. I'm taking resources. Watch this. Now we're spending time, money on shit that's not moving forward, you know?
Bro, you could get that 100%. What's the definition of insanity? Right? Doing the same things and expecting different results. So when you mention these stories of people saying, I am against what you're doing so much that I have to create my own thing, to me, that creates a culture of whoever's in control surrounding themselves with yes people. because that again, in my experience, I've seen that where it's like they're not receptive to anything. Whoever these individuals are don't seem receptive to wanting either these creatives or whatever it is. But it's clear as day, a lot of these people who are Roddy S people are not making the right decision. We saw that with the Halo the show. You know what I'm saying? Like when we even see it on small things. So yeah, I agree. The small wins is kind of what me, you, and Chris Reagan was talking about. Was like, you know, spinoffs. This franchise is huge. This should be in a lot of different genres. There's so many stories to tell, right? So it's like these are easy W's, and to me, the indictment is going to be this. It's what you said earlier. Halo, Halo Campaign Evolved should theoretically be a W, hopefully, right? Right, hopefully, right? That should be an easy, low lift. You don't do that. To me, where I judge them, I don't care if you change your name and you got a new outfit. Where I'm gonna judge you is where's that certain affinity multiplayer, where that's at, what's going on with that, if that comes to light, what's the quality level of that? And the next Halo game over. Because remember, at the time when they did the name change, they said, oh yeah, the Halo stuff, they reassured us. They said, the Halo brand is alive and well. We've got multiple projects. We can't wait to talk. Remember, that was the talk when you rebranded yourself, you changed, you went Muslim, you changed your name fresh out of prison or whatever you was doing. So you got the homie that just came home and now he's born again and now, he got a new name and refer to him as this. Cool. You still got criminal activities going on in real time that we see. So I'm going to judge you. I want you to land the plane. Hopefully you do that with low lift. I'm going to judge you on that multiplayer project. I'm going to judge you on Halo, 7 or whatever number we're at right now, right? That's what, because you're going to have to prove to me that you could create. It's one thing that you could do with what's existing and add on to what's existing. Prove that you could create, and then I'll believe it. But right now, confidence, Lord, I hate, me. I'm the last guy to be like, yo, dude's got to get fired. Yo, I'm very sensitive towards that. If I'm telling y'all, Asha got to come in there and independent investigation, you know what I'm saying? That's just where we are. The rope
just can't keep continuing happening.
Yes, definition of insanity. You can't. So again, they don't get the benefit of the doubt in this case with the Glenn Israel. I'm sorry. Y'all can be mad all y'all want. I don't care. I care about Halo. I care about November 15th. I care about what this means to this brand. This game started my IT career. I learned what a Linksys router and an Ethernet cable because I was so enamored with local LAN playing. I didn't know what that meant as a console owner. I bought 4 TVs from the Wiz. Shout out to the Wiz back in the day. We love this game. That's what Halo means to me. And to see this franchise just completely butchered. And I will say on record, this was one of the biggest things on the Phil regime. I said this, inexcusable. This means too much to this brand. And what I'm hoping, like I said, Asha's biggest challenge, get in there, hopefully with an independent eye, right? Unbiased, no relationships, no connections to anyone. Take the information and make the appropriate action and clean up what's going in there. I am sick and tired of Halo Studios always in the news.
Yeah, 100%. It's one thing if it's like for announcements and stuff, but that's not what it's been. And oh man, I was about to bring up the books, but I was like, I'm not even going to start on that.
Yeah, the story continued in the judge.
Dude, like that says all that needs to be said. Like, oh yeah, Infinite, like cliffhanger. Okay, cool. Where'd they finish the story? Next game, right? No, book. Like, oh, but didn't they just reboot it? Yep. Oh, interesting. What happened after 5? Oh, it doesn't fucking matter. Doesn't matter. Like, what about the TV show? So bad it got canceled. They showed his face. They showed his ass.
Don't say it like they showed his face. They showed his ass. like that was season, like 2 episodes back to back. They showed his face. They showed his ass. And it ended.
slept with an alien, bro. Like what is this dumbass shit we're seeing happening with this franchise? If you're not angry, you don't care. That's my point, is when you keep seeing this happening and you feel nothing, I get it. And some people will be apathetic, of course. I've been there where like when Bethesda was taking their lumps, bro, I was just like, damn, I don't know if I feel anything anymore right now. Like I'm numb right now. But like, this is that one franchise where I'm like, you light my fire every fucking time. Every time. Because it's just been, they just outdo themselves. Bro. So I'll be interested to see how this continues to evolve. Of course, for I think us, the players, what matters most is Campaign Evolved Remake. I hope they hit a home run. But again, I go back to what I was talking about earlier when we were discussing the release dates. Those little choices they make show to me they just don't get it. And I would like, my fear is that Halo Campaign Evolved Remake will pass the eye test and pass the sniff test of like, okay, it's a playable Halo video game.
Right.
But the little intricacies that make Halo tick and make those campaigns work so well will be gone and modernized. And I'm usually not like anti-modern like some.
Yeah, I'm
people
about to say you anti-ADS or something.
No. To be clear, no, that sort of stuff I am not like.
Okay, you cool with that?
Hop on board. Go ahead.
I'm good with that too. Okay.
Yeah. Sprint's fine with me to a certain extent. Like they turned a switch for that. Like okay, that stuff's cool. I can be objective about that. It's like the little level design things. Like again, Rockgate, we'll call it.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. I love that call out.
It's just a little thing where it's like you don't know why that rock was there.
Facts.
You don't know why that was there. And it doesn't take rocket science to figure that out. And so that's a little thing that people will call a nitpick now. But I'm telling you right now, if the whole campaign's loaded top to bottom with that type of shit, like you're going to hear about it from every Halo fan on the planet. Because they will all be like, why did you do that?
Yeah.
I'm warning everyone in advance. So that's my biggest fear for Halo's remake. But I'm hoping it doesn't come to that because the blueprint for an incredible game is right there. Just make it look a little prettier.
Absolutely. Last point I have to say is that there's got to be a Mr. Matty Plays developer mindset there's guys in there that have that mindset that you said in that studio. I have
no doubt. I don't blame the whole team. Right. It's leadership at this point. Right. Because I'm sure, just like with any company, these devs, I know these devs give a fuck. Yes. I know a lot of people generalize. They're like, these devs don't fucking care. I'm like, yeah, they do.
They care.
You and I have talked to more than enough to know they're not putting on a show. It's genuine care. It comes down to the people who call the shots.
Exactly. And that's the key. And I just want to reiterate that I know what it's like. And I've been on teams where you have people like me and you on these teams. They have a Cognito in that room. They have a Mr. Matty Plays type developer in that room. And they are in there trying to fight the good fight and get us what we want. And they are consistently blocked and stifled. And that all I'm hoping is with the good thing about these exposés is that there's a spotlight now on you. You can't run. When the Jason Schreier joints come out, they remember the first one was crazy.
Gotta answer. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you can, that's the good thing about being exposed. And that's why I don't have a problem sometimes with the leaks and the investigative journalism, because sometimes in order for real change to happen, some people gotta be exposed. And what I'm hoping is this is another wake-up call for whoever's blocking people's blessings to prevent us getting from what we need to do. We just want this game to be great, and that's all. We love this franchise way too much for it to be in the state that it's in.
Yeah, my proposal to fix things right now, I don't know if Halo Studios will ever go anywhere, but my proposal is if they want to be Halo Studios, the maker of Halo, like they make mainline stuff, knock yourselves out. But them sort of having to be the co-sign green light. I don't know, by the way, who fills this gap.
Right.
But for them being the ones who have to co-sign green light, collaborate with everything that involves Halo, like they are the stewards of the franchise. I feel that privilege had to be revoked like 2 games ago. Like this should be something that someone like Matt Booty should be taking as an IP to other studios and being like, we've got Halo. How can we work together? Like, I think about what one of the things that Phil did really well during his tenure was near the end of it with Ninja Gaiden 4. Let's get these 2 teams together, Koei Tecmo Platinum Games, and make some magic. It's not easy, but with something like Halo, it's worth that effort. Because if you bring fans something new and something exciting, and more importantly, something good, I don't need to see Halo Studios on that box because it's good for their fucking ego or whatever, bro. Like, we need to see good Halo content. So that is my hope to just let Xbox staff be the stewards of the brand, as in let them take the IP and bring it to other people and see what they can make happen there.
Yeah, I told you, I mentioned his name 3 times. You know my vote. Find out what Joseph Staten doing. I don't care. Like, throw the bag. Like, bro, we got enough evidence, in my opinion. So, there are people, and just pull your internal guys, and see like, okay, from the developer standpoint, if you're doing a thorough investigation, who do you feel, puts us in the right direction and stuff like that? Or who do you feel is stifling? We're at that point, So, yeah, I'm with you. And if it means co-development, hey, whatever we got to do to get this ship righted is where I'm at.
Absolutely. Well, with that, Cog, that's enough Halo Studios drama, and it's time for us to wrap this thing up, sir. Good show. How are we feeling?
Feeling good. I feel therapeutic. I feel like I got it all out.
All out in the open now.
Yeah, healing, you got to go through some things,
Of course. Of course.
Yeah, I'm in my therapy bag. But no, shout out to you. This is, again, juicy topics, great stuff, a lot of things going on, a lot of games, a lot of stuff, man. So I'm excited. And this year we got a ton of stuff to talk about. So it's going to be a crazy one. You know what I'm saying? But
Ain't that the truth?
Mm-hmm. What you think?
Well, it's hashtag time. I'm thinking we got to give it the State of Decay. I feel
I think they deserve.
We've never done a State of DD.
State of DD.
Yeah,
let's go.
I kind of like that. Okay, let's do that hashtag. All right. I'm at G27 Status. Cog is at Lord Cognito. You can tag us on X. I'm gonna try to get used to calling it that. Finally, I thought the name would change back. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm like, all right, I guess I gotta call it X now. You can tag us there with the hashtag State of DD. We'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, if you don't have social media, use the comment section. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the episode. Cog, as always, it's been excellent doing this with you. We'll be back I will not be back next week. Cog will be, though, for episode 276. I'll be away on a small vacation, and I'll be back the following week. So I'll miss you all. Cog, I'll be listening. We'll be seeing what the Duke 1 and 2 are up to. I'm curious who the fill-in Duke will be. I have my predictions in my head.
I think you know.
Yeah. I think I know who usually you pick up the phone for around these times. just keep my man warm for showcase season,
No doubt. I might surprise though.
Oh, okay. Maybe you got some other ideas in mind. Okay, I'm curious to see who you pick. Just don't bring in Brad.
Brad gonna listen to this like he's out here slandering me. Brad things been too good for a little bit, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, look at this. Like, Brad, listen. Look what's happening with Halo Studios. If you were to show up here, man. Think about what this could be. Like, could it be a reverse jinx? Could he show up and it's like they figure all their shit out? Or would it be that like more workplace drama? Would State of Decay 3 be canceled if Brad were about to appear this week? Think about it.
Yeah, we just out of my life right now.
It's a high risk play. So I'll be curious to see who Cog picks. I'll be back the following week. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you listening. Thanks for tuning in to Defining Duke. But until next time, we'll catch you real soon. Peace out.
Peace. They said I don't say it anymore, so I'm saying it.
There you go. I knew my man was going to do it.
Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast, is a product and trademark of Last Stand Media and Collins Last Stand LLC, and is recorded from the United States of America. The show is conceived by Matthew Mr. Matty Plays Schroeder and me, Colin Moriarty, and is written and produced by Matthew Schroeder. Matty's co-host is Barry Lord Cognito Eversley. Defining Duke's executive producer is Dustin Furman. All of Last Stand's theme music is by Ramon Narvaez. As you know, all of Last Stand Media's shows, including Defining Duke, are fan-funded on Patreon at patreon.com/laststandmedia. The following names are at the producer support level on Patreon, and we're thankful for your kindness and generosity.